mysteries as to why the whites are living in misery. We keep the audience salivating as we continue navigating through centuries of adventures of the ever-evolving sword wizardry. Hardy and fist, hardy and fist. Let us show you what you might have
And it looks like we're live!
We're live! Welcome back, gentle listeners, to another episode of Artie and Fist. Oh, mate, I'm feeling a bit rough tonight. I don't even have like a snappy intro. I think what's happened.
Well, you're on the lam, right?
Yeah, look, I think what's happened, man, is that they've been storing like some kind of like forbidden biodefense data on the secret partition inside my brain. It's leaking out. And
This is you not having a bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, the mood flu.
This is real now. Now, other times you're talking about this, that's a goof. That's an intro. But now you're actually telling us how you actually feel. This is no longer a bit.
This is very, very real, mate. Right? The mood flu is a serious danger. Right? Like,
I didn't take 45 streams to say that.
Possible side effects include, excessive rubbing of the hands, elongated nasal bones, right? An incredible interest in leveraged financial products. Right? Like, it's no joke, mate. Right? Like, you get a dose of this stuff, and before you know it, you're working for BlackRock. Like phoning up widows, trying to scam them out of all their money. It's terrible illness. Really? Apparently,
oddly specific. Is that? Do you moonlight doing that at some point by any chance, or is that completely random out of your head?
Moonlight, yes, exactly. I've had a bit of a checkered past. I've been around the block a few times. Taking a route past the local Habad shul.
You're in Australia, then you're on the lam to the UK, right? Yeah. Then you're on the lam to the United States, just like the moves. You're like, oh, I keep getting kicked out. I don't know why.
That's
please,
right.
This country take me. This country take me, please.
I am the international fist. a fist without a place, but with a purpose. You know what I'm saying?
My word. Is that how you got your wife? With a line like that, just a fist looking to make a home, make this fist a home is all you're looking to do. Maybe just settle down on your fist, looking for a place to settle down.
Just looking for a comfy place to put my fist.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
How you doing, Artie? You all right, mate?
I'm hungry. Oh, I'm hungry, and I'm not moody because I'm hungry, okay? But I just found out today about Eurocucks. Now, I'm going to spare you because you know about them, but I'm probably going to end up having to do a solo stream about them. There's some people that live in Europe that think America bad somehow more than the left, and this is just coming to my attention right now to this extent. This is all very new to me, but I feel like that's kind of like the appeal of Artie. Is everyone already knows what I'm learning, but they're like, let's see what happens when Artie's warped brain learns about it, for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not know this? Like this is the thing
because I hit new levels of not caring since quarantine race war. Okay, just new levels that I didn't know existed of not caring, and it just kept going. I thought now I didn't care. I thought that now I didn't care, and then it reduced to a boil. And then I slowly started to care about things again. And then I was like, wait a minute. America sure has some problems, right? Sure.
Yeah.
And sure, we're cocky, right? But
true.
We're horrifically diverse. It's really hard to just say American. That's like me saying European. It barely means anything. It's a very pan identity.
That's not true, right? One of the things that I noticed when going to America is how every single place is exactly the same. You know what I mean, right? Like you just, like just to sort of, actually that's one of the Eurocuck sort of like things they say about America, like, oh, it's just a monoculture, like
We would love that. Well, if that's what it feels like, the things that James Lindsay says about the woke right, I wish they were true. And the things that the Eurocucks say about America, I wish they were true. But, oh my God, you're hating me for all the reasons that I want to be loved. Sure, I wish that was true. Yes, absolutely.
No, I think it's just the incredible amount of influence that America's had over Europe since the end of the
annoying.
Second World War.
Understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's annoying, but it's also, just weird. But the thing is, it's not like the EU doesn't do like even worse crap.
You can't. That's the thing. James Lindsay cries about the woke right and can't criticize the moose, and then the Eurococks cry about America, but then can't criticize like Europe like at all. It's, I don't know. It's very parallel. These cognitive biases.
You know what I discovered today? Someone was posting this on Twitter. So the UK actually arrests more people for speech crime than the USSR did at the height of its power.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
It's so insane.
Well, yeah, but they're whiter. So
right. So that makes all the difference. So what the USSR
very unification of white people all across Europe for being white, right? They consider it. I love that too, where if they're making fun of America, it's like you call yourselves white because you don't have a heritage. Then you talk to the Eurocucks, and then all of a sudden they're bragging about white. I don't know. I'm gonna start getting too into it if we keep talking about it right now, dude.
I mean, they're like, the Americans, they have no history. Yeah, well, referencing your own history in Europe is fucking illegal. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you, right? It's like, go and start talking about like Vlad Tepes.
Look at you being the American pick-me right now. You might as well be Sargon of Akkad, drinking in Trump right now, right?
I'm so disappointed.
Because yeah, we're not disappointed in Trump at all. We're all on board. We're all you're just batting for MAGA right now. Okay, that's the level that it's at, where it's like, well, no, we don't agree. We don't agree with Trump. It's
MAGA. It was always MAGA.
MAGA, please, MAGA, please, MAGA, MAGA, please, MAGA. Don't give it the short eye. Please, it's too close. It's way too close, especially with the scorn that you're using when you're saying it.
No, the MAGAs, the MAGAs, basically.
Oh boy, YouTube, it's MAGA. That's what he means.
MAGA,
okay?
MAGA.
I'm supposed to tell people to like the stream. Yeah, like the stream, something like that. That'd be good.
It was always for Israel. It was always for it. Like all of the stuff that Trump did for America was just purely so he could do stuff for Israel.
No. I don't believe that. I believe that when they have to turn up the heat, then they start flocking to him, right? Because
right.
When it comes to time to do something, then all of a sudden they start applying. That's what they did to James Lindsay. It wasn't like James Lindsay had this plan the entire time of going to of what it. I don't want to hear anyone saying they called it with James Lindsay. No one could have possibly anticipated.
I didn't. Look, I am
with Israel.
Yeah, look, I am something of a professional Lindsay watcher, and even I did not anticipate him becoming like such a war piggy. Like he's just a little war piggy now. It's like
I mean, can you even call it a war pig, or it's just the same script though? A war pig makes it sound like going to war with countries as opposed to doing the same thing that's happening.
No, a war piggy. Like a little piglet. Or like, sort of like one of those like weird sort of like gay people you see at like the pride parades, all like dressed up in the straps and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, I just mean, he's just like, oh, give me more. I'm gonna like, roll around in the blood and just like, blah, 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 blah,
Well,
in my
fellas, I don't know if you know this about me, okay? But I'm not necessarily known to be a believer, okay? And now I've been fasting alongside Lent, not doing a Lent fast, all right? And, I get these comments that are people calling themselves like a Christian atheist, okay? Sounds counterintuitive. And it's people that have believed, want to believe, or don't believe, but want to believe, right? So I get comments like this all the time. And then I get comments that are like, hey, thanks. Because I just talked to an Orthodox Christian. That's very weird. And then I get more comments that are like, hey, dude, you make me feel better about also being an atheist who's not a far leftist, who also wants to believe. And, then I also get people telling me that they're going to liturgy now and thanking me. Okay. So I'm doing something over here. I'm cooking. All right. And I also like to showcase how Arthur Kwan Lee, who some of you probably know, saying that he's looking into Orthodox Christianity now. And someone just left this where this is, fellas, I've said this on previous streams. There's no such thing as Orthodox Moodyism. There's fundamental Moodyism, okay? And now I'm going to say there's no such thing as Christianity or denominations of Christianity. There's only Orthodox Christianity. And I really am sold on that with this guy right here in this quick 30 seconds.
Once upon a time you were Christians. Now you are in denial of your Messiah. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't take the cross down for no one. Do you understand, Sweden? I don't take the cross down for no one. If people come into my country as refugees, they will adhere to the Christian roots of that nation. I don't change, they need to change. Otherwise, they pack themselves and leave. If you're ashamed of your Christ, he will be ashamed of you in the end.
When I talk to Orthodox Christians, they're like painfully succinct with their messaging compared to other denominations. And fellas, we're going to be laughing at other denominations later on this stream, okay? Oh, there's going to be some imposter Christians later on the stream. Don't you worry about that.
God, mate, Christian Zionism delenta est. It must be destroyed. Like it's, and I'm, when I was a little atheist sprog, okay, one of the arguments I used to always hear is they're like, oh, don't you know, like, all the bad things that the Christians did in the name of heresy? Well, now you're seeing the results. Okay, right? They stopped like persecuting people for heresy, and now we've got Christian Zionism, right? And now we've got a war in Iran. So you tell me, right, which would be worse? Okay, like punishing like, the heretics, or like literally setting the entire world on fire? Right?
No. It's not setting the whole world on fire, okay? It just, it's it's really Tikkun Olam is what it is. It's honestly though, it's virtually impossible for me to call myself even a liberal at this point, because I'm like, oh, liberalism came from Christianity. Really, Protestantism. And Protestantism is what, like the 1400s? Aren't Protestants pretty new to the game?
Yeah, they are. And
right?
Pretty
new to the game. And also, the Catholics, I'm going to spare you guys. I forgot to cue this up. There's been Catholics in my comments that are driving me crazy. And then the Catholics really like try to tone police me. Yeah. When I'm talking to like an Orthodox dude and he's like, oh, the tone of what you're saying. And I'm like, wow. And then without even knowing anything about religion at all, I've been swarmed with Orthodox Christians in the past 6 months. So sorry if I'm a little bit biased to the truth, but that's all I'm going to say about that for right now.
Yeah, I'm getting tone policed by the Catholics as well. I don't know what the fuck it is, man. I like,
the Ortho bros are focused on the important stuff, and then once you're focused on the important stuff, they're like, you'll be fine, you'll be okay, just these core fundamentals, and you'll figure it out, and you'll have time to get better. Seems to be the messaging of the Ortho bros.
Well, yeah.
See, like, the way that you say, well, yeah. Even if I agreed with a Catholic, they would go, well, yeah. I feel like with a Catholic, like, yeah. But an Ortho bro goes, well, yeah. Yeah, duh. Clearly. Seems intuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, I know I've said this before, but one of the things that really drew me to Orthodoxy is like they have like such a grounded understanding of human nature. And you see sort of, in my opinion, as you move further and further away from Orthodoxy, just this very, very weird understanding of human nature, right? Like, I don't know. I can't get my head around it. If you promulgate a religion that does not have a good grounding in human nature, you're just going to drive people insane, right? You're going to
Yes.
give them like, you know, weird expectations that they can't live up to. You're going to like, it's just,
Well,
I think it's driving people insane.
with other denominations, from what I'm seeing, they kind of have to like post hoc rationalize their religion, right? They kind of have to try and fit the current moment into their denomination of their religion. And I just don't ever encounter that with Orthodox people, because I'm talking to a lot of like different kinds of people in the back channels now about religion. You know, I'm up for grabs. All right. Everyone's trying to get a slice of this right now, right? So I'm talking to different denominations and whatnot, and that just seems to be like the most common sense, approachable. If you want to go in depth, there's Limitless. You'll never know enough about Orthodox Christianity, as you've shown with Fistory, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Indeed.
Check your local listings for more information.
Check your and you can actually find me on YouTube now. So I was searching my channel up, and now you get like the first thing with that weird Sri Lankan news channel, but I'm like right there underneath. So I have ascended.
Oddly enough, today is going to be kind of like a hybrid Fistory, because it's the intersection of some themes you've been talking about and a line that apparently Tucker Carlson has crossed, where something he's not really supposed to talk about, even though nothing he said is untrue at all whatsoever.
I can't believe Tucker's started talking about the destruction of the first temple. Like,
dude,
no, Tucker,
all the time, baby.
No, don't talk about that part of history, right? That's very, very antiseptic. Like, no.
All right, we should start with these super chats right here.
Yeah,
really because we could go on forever on this one.
Oh, we could. Okay, so hang on a second. Where are we up to? Okay, so Sport Nuggets. Member for 2 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, gents, I have to pretend to be a normie for my fiance right now. Can you redo all of this later?
Boy, oh boy, do I remember those days. Fellas, do I sound like every single day I enjoy not having to sound normal for anybody? That's because of you. That's because of the fellas, okay? I really enjoy never having to sound normal, and I sound like this so you can go and sound normal. So, yes,
I'm not having a great time with the normies. Personally, I can't even, bro. Dreadlord Mike for £5 British. Thank you very much, mate. So Trump takes over Venezuela, massive oil reserves, hands it over to one of his Moorish friends, and then wars with Iran, causing prices to spike. Yeah, I'll be doing like a little segment on the war.
As always, dude. We predict what the chat wants. It's incredible.
Not what's actually going on the ground, because like there's so much fucking disinformation nobody knows, but just the wider reverberations. I hope everyone in the chat likes paying more for like literally fucking everything, because you're going to get it. Trump has listened to you, right? All this time, all of you guys wanted everything to be more expensive and for there to be more inflation, right? And he has listened and he has delivered unto you your very earnest wish. So, enjoy that.
What a guy.
What a guy. Mr. Blue for $10. Thank you very much. Fist, loved your conspiracy video with Clowntown. Everyone should go watch it. I'd love to see more videos with him. Oh, that's very, very
Absolutely,
nice.
Dude. Absolutely. This is what we do here at Rhetorically Defective Studios, okay? We build people up, okay? I send it down to Fist. Fist gets a bump. He sends it down to Clowntown. He gets a bump. That's what we're trying to do here. Awesome feedback. I appreciate that you said that.
Yeah, thank you. And the link here is in the description. Ardent, maybe if you could like post it as well. So me and Aaron from Clowntown chronically under-subscribed channel. You know how sometimes you like come across people on YouTube and you're like, how the fuck are you only getting like 25 views? This is like awesome. We covered the conspiracy pyramid. Do you got anyone remember that? It was like, the pyramid of like all the different conspiracies and like how, it was like a COVID era thing, right? And so we covered like a bunch of them. There's going to be a part 2. We found out like who made it, and and they work for Media Matters. What a shock, right?
Wow, really shocking.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Blue. I'm really, really glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for the shout out. Oh, that gives me the warm fuzzies.
Yeah, dude, we're trying to build over here. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Waffle for $10. Look at him.
There he is. Where is he? There he is.
Hey, I missed the first 10 minutes. Restart or else.
Are we even
What
10
else?
minutes in? You psycho. Are we even 10 minutes in yet? You people,
we
you.
are.
I already
Yeah.
have a tenuous grasp on time. I don't need you people doing this to my poor supple brain.
Well, Waffle, if we don't, what are you going to do about it?
Oh, no, don't.
Spend
no,
on
please.
20 memberships?
No.
I'd like to
No.
see you
No,
try.
no.
empty threats. No, thanks, Waffle.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, mate. Hope you're well, dude. Deadpool Kid for $2. Guts from Berserk. Mega! Thank you very much. Moloch Hay for 20 secs. I don't like the US since 1895.
Okay. Sure.
Torch of White for $2. There could be MIGAs here. He thought to himself.
You don't know. You never
With the
know.
Republican Party, you can go anywhere.
Well, here's the thing a lot of people don't realize about MAGAs, okay? They'll lie about what they call themselves, okay? They'll change their last names to something more MAGA, all right? Very duplicitous type of people.
I mean, if you think about it though, right? Like Lindsay has explained this, okay? America and Israel are basically the same country at this point, right? So like if you have anything bad to say about Israel, you also have bad things to say about America. It's very, very simple, right? The two cannot be separated, like a sort of grotesque Siamese twin.
Ideologically, yeah, but in reality, he treats one much different than the other. One's definitely his favorite child, but he loves both of his children the exact same. Okay,
no, he pretends most of the time that he loves both of his children equally, but when the shit goes down, it becomes very, very clear which child he loves more.
Yeah, one gets the rod.
Yeah, exactly. Punted Kitten for $5. Thank you, mate. New Atlas on YouTube has receipts that Israel is taking the blame for the US empire. As much as I enjoy the Mooish angle, there is a bigger picture here. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not believing that personally, but oh my God, your mum's legs has gifted 20 membership, mate. Your mum's legs are looking very, very fine.
She's a
I had no idea they were so generous.
I am due for another lore video this weekend, so I'll probably do a stream and drop a lore video. I have 3 hours of me talking about Colin Kaepernick from 2017. It could be,
mate.
Yeah, and I go through all the charities that he donates to because it was during the BLM craze, and so actually, wait a minute. I think that was before COVID. That was like 2018.
That's some deep lore. My God, I've completely forgotten about that nappy-headed fucker.
Yeah. Oh, then I have a full hour on how he has clown hair and he's not really a black person, and I compare different black people's hairs to his hairs. And I'm like, what? It's not. Look at the technology, the digital technology that had to go into giving this man an afro. So I'll probably do something like that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Your mum's legs. Well, totally based. Bear in the Woods for $10. Thank you very much, mate. Sorry I'm late. Could you restart the stream? There was an unprecedented amount of traffic on the roads. They were all tiny little gnomes with jittering jaws talking about immigration being good.
That has to be a Destiny dig right there. The video that I just put out.
Sounds like you got caught in a movalanche or something like that. You know what I mean? Those can be very, very dangerous. You don't want to get
the jittering jaws really sells it.
If you get one of those kippers caught in your transmission, it can be very, very bad.
I put one of my bike's spokes so it sounds like a motorcycle.
The new GM for $10. Thank you very much.
There he is. Thank you.
I had to call into work today because I somehow hurt my arm, so I can barely move it, but at least I can be present for the stream. P.S. Protestants only exist because of the invulnerability of the Catholics.
Oh, here we go. Religion war.
Best of luck with your arm, new GM, mate. I hope it heals up. Fucking nobody needs that, dude.
And also you can use your other arm. Okay, you don't have to just keep using that same arm. To do that thing that God has to look away for. Okay, we know what you did. You gotta switch.
What if it's your special arm?
I mean, Never
the
mind. Never mind.
the arm you love the most, you know.
I actually, when I was a kid, thought that my that arm was going to get too strong, so I learned how to use the other arm to do that. Because I was 13 and no one talked to me about what to do, and I was like, "Oh, I use this arm for everything, so I got to use this arm for something."
So you were load balancing, basically.
Equalize. It was kind of like The Stranger, where you sit on your hand, you know. Since it's not a hand you don't use very often. At 13, it felt like a lady's hand. My God, it was special time. Special time for young Artie.
Cubics for 10 Canadian loonies. Thank you very much. Artie, were you a fan of The Amazing Atheist back in the day? Do you remember someone he admired named Fake Sagan? He became a devout ortho. I'm a Catholic, and his conversion is very inspiring.
Oh, that's interesting. See, this is what I do here. Okay, as I just shown you previously. I was never a huge fan of The Amazing Atheist. I liked anti-SJW stuff. I liked the surface level of things. I never went deep into, like, you know, I was never parasocial with any content creators that I watched. But it would be interesting to check out Fake Sagan and his transformation. But you have to understand, no one's transformation is going to influence my transformation. I'm a weird, very strange person. Okay. The way that I'm going to do it, it's going to be unbelievably specific. However, once I'm already leading people to orthodoxy, being an atheist, just know I'll be a force to be reckoned with once this conversion goes through. Seriously, once this conversion goes through, there's been a little kindling, a little kindling of belief started with this a whole fasting journey I've been on.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's good, man. Like, you know, just, you know, best of luck with your journey, man. Like, you know, wherever you get, I have faith in you. You are truly an individual. You know, what's that line from? No, what's that line from Fear and Loathing? You know, too strange to live, like, you know, too weird to die.
Yeah, whenever my mom called me special, I thought it was because I was completely retarded, but it just meant that I'm hyper individual, you know, and one day I'm going to find orthodoxy. That's what she meant, right? That's why she told all of her friends I was a late bloomer, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes,
exactly.
Thank you for saying yes to that.
Coom of Doom for 50
All right.
Zlotys. Thank you very much, mate. Yesterday, one guy played the Mooish theme song at work, and after a short convo about it with other coworkers, I learned that basically all dudes at my company are based race realist notices. Feels good, lol. Yeah, I don't think
it's happening IRL at unprecedented rates.
Yeah, the noticing cannot be reversed at this point. I actually saw you know, what's that guy? He like plays the Joker on Omegle or whatever.
Gypsy
and he got Gypsy
Paul
Crusader.
Miller.
Paul Miller, yeah, and he got like matched with a bunch of like military guys, and they were just all like, "Oh, it's so good to see you!" Like, just fucking crazy, man. Oh, dude. Thank you very much, Kim of Doom. Molokai for 50 secs. Guys, the stream is a bit late. Can we pause for 8 hours and restart in the morning? Molokai for you, of course, mate.
The stream was on time. It was on time. I don't know why.
Matty Ice for $5. Hail Fist's ascension to directly below the weird Sri Lankan news channel.
That is true ascension. You thought Christ was ascension.
You are actually looking for a news fist, sir? Not a news first? No. You should be coming watching the Sri Lankan news channel. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And Matty Ice also, I think it was him who contacted me and gave me like some really great info about the conspiracy pyramid. Thank you very much for that, Matty. Clarence Thomas 777, 1 month's membership. Ride the Tiger, indeedy.
Wow, that's badass right there.
Surf the Kali Yuga. Surf's up, bro.
That's really
the Kali Yuga's coming in hot, bro.
See, we got some black guys here.
Airboy for $10. Thank you very much. Had an internet friend tell me I helped him to get closer to Christ today. I've never even met the man. Still almost made me cry. Blessings to you all. Christ is King. Oh,
it's happening, fellas. It's happening.
That's nice.
And when I say it, I mean orthodoxy. And when I say orthodoxy, I don't mean fundamentalist Moodyism. I mean Christianity. It's happening. And it's happening across the nation.
Oh, well, I've actually seen a fact check article, Artie, that actually says that there is no mass conversion to Orthodoxy going on. And so obviously I have to believe that instead of like literally my own eyes. Like,
Right. So
every time I go to church now, it's so freaking crowded. Like, it's
yeah.
just...
And so tell Ellen Greenberg that I'll take her study under advisement. We never ask who's conducting these studies, right?
Well, I mean, Ms. Greenberg is, noted sort of, Orthodox scholar after all, right? Oh, different kind of Orthodox, I see, right? King Spectre for $20.
Hey there, bro.
Thank you so much. No need to rush to conversion, Artie. If it's the plan, you will come to Christ in your own time and with sincere conviction. The journey, no matter how long, is about building the foundation sincerely to support your faith. Oh, see, that nice.
Resonates with me. That resonates with me because I can't just, but this process is very important. And it's important to show people as well, right? But for me personally, I realize I've been lied to my entire life. And then it's like, it's like being out of like a really toxic relationship with reality. Where I thought I found the reality for me. And I'm like, okay, this reality seems like the one, but we gotta take it nice and slow. Because when you break up with reality, it is very distressful. You lose your friends, it's very confusing. Well, you start telling people on a live stream how you jerked off when you were 13. It's very confusing, okay? So now I want to just take this nice and slow with this reality that seems like the one. And a lot of my friends are telling me this is the reality. This is the one. Go for it. I'm like, I'm getting there.
No, but look, Orthodoxy's like that, man, right? Like, it'll take you like at least like a year, like, a couple of years being a catechumen before you can like even take communion. No, I like it too, right? Because they don't just like, like the whole Protestant thing where they just drag you in off the street and dump you in a swimming pool and be like, now you are forever changed.
I can't wait until we get to the performative Christianity. I can't wait.
God.
It's so over the top. It's way more over the top than what you just said.
We have so much heresy tonight. I'm gonna have to be like just crossing myself like continually and just being like, oh my God. Jose Alvanerga, I think. $10. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate all the content, guys. My 4-year-old son and I went to our first divine liturgy at our local Greek Orthodox church last week. Can't wait to go back. Viva Cristo Rey.
That could be me, but I'm playing.
Congratulations, man. I hope it works for you. I hope you have a good time, man. God bless you.
I especially like to hear when someone's bringing their like developing mind into liturgy, right? Like that's pivotal to have that experience. While your brain's still developing.
The Agile Walrus for 20 Canadian loonies.
Yeah, bro.
Fist, would you consider doing a history on the evangelical movement, Schofield, his study Bible, and the Lotus Club he attended? These dispensationalists need to be exposed. I can't stand them. Yes, that is on my list. I think after I wrap up the history of English Jewry, I'm probably going to do dispensationalism because it's so crucial at the moment. And probably Habad as well, because one of the things that I really wanted to stress is that you need to understand history in order to understand the present. That's why people who wish to destroy your mind and stop you from understanding the world around you, the first thing they attack is history. Because if you cannot understand how it is that the world got to the place that it is, then they can just lie to you. And they'll just be like, the reason why, things wound up the way they are is because you're a bad person and, shut the fuck up, right? You need history is, and you see this at certain points, like when wars break out or, big stuff happens. And it's all a result of things that came before as a result of, I know historical forces is kind of like a Marxist term, but it's sort of correct. So yes, I will do that. Thank you very much, Agile Wars.
Very quickly, since you just brought up World Moory, I need you to very quickly read this Jeremy Boring thing that he wrote.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Yeah. Wait. Okay, right. What's this?
Yep, just go for it right here.
It is absolutely possible to criticize the policies of the state of Israel without slinging anti-Semitism, but the most prominent critics of the state of Israel seem determined to prove that it isn't.
Okay, and then what did Jordan say?
It's not Israel. It's World Muri that is.
And what does Jeremy Boring say?
Case in point.
So you can't even talk about World Muri, which is what they call it.
So remember, I've been saying for a while. I had this theory, like it's being proven like correct that stage one is you don't have the conversation, right? Anyone trying to have the conversation, you just say like, oh, they're a racist or they're this or that, and you don't have the conversation. And the reason they don't want to have the conversation is because as soon as it happens, they have to defend the indefensible. So they spend as much time as possible in phase one, and now we're seeing it's clearly moved into phase two, which is having the conversation. And people like, Jeremy Boring and Joel Berry and Lindsay are desperately trying to drag everyone back to stage one, right? Being like, no, don't have the conversation. Because when you have the conversation, it makes us look really, really bad. It's like, well, that's because you are, right? You're defending the indefensible. I'm just saying it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Rich 520 for $2. Thank you very much. The item bounce song intensifies. Sakurai Nu. I don't know what that means.
Me neither, but I like his gusto. Okay, he had the confidence that we were going to now, and sometimes life's about confidence, right?
Molokai again for another 20 secs. Fellas, have you seen the Shia comment on meeting Jesus? No, I haven't.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff about like sort of like the Islam Christian crossover, because the Muslims believe that Jesus is a prophet. And I was reading somewhere that they reckon that what happened with Islam was that basically Christianity started moving towards the east, and then the Moors came in and are like, no, you can't be doing that, right? Like, how about we sort of again do this sort of weird sort of basically sort of Islamic Zionism sort of like thing. Yeah. Now, of course, now that's changed a lot, but there's a lot of similarities between Islam and Moodyism. The sort of the many laws and the the weird sort of like thing of like you see this not. I mean, look, Islam is a broad church, right? But there is this strain where they're like, they sort of deify like everything about Muhammad. So because Muhammad had a beard, you have to have a beard, right? Because he did this, you have to do this thing because he brushed his teeth. Whereas like Christianity is very different. You're supposed to embody the principles of Jesus, like what he was like going for. Christians don't go around and say like, because Jesus died on the cross, every single Christian's highest goal should also aim to be like crucified by the Moors, right? You're supposed to follow the principles that he was like into. But Islam is different in that it's more like, we have to emulate Muhammad in every single small way.
But this is where James Lindsay was successful, where man cannot become God. That's where he was and that's true what he was saying, and that was an important point of what he was saying. And then we have to say the super chats. We had to start this. We had to start going now.
Right. Oh yeah. We're nearly 40 minutes in. Lenny Grad for $10. Thank you very much, mate.
Hello, are you there?
I legitimately just tuned in. Can you go back over the big news again? We have not started the big news, mate. We're still doing.
There's bodies rolling in. There's bodies rolling in, right?
Yeah, we're still doing the opening preamble and the super chats. Airboy for another $10. Thank you very much, mate.
There.
My father was an intellectual college professor. Spent his whole career picking apart God's words. Wrote 2 books about it. Somehow, I still find myself at the feet of Christ. It takes time. R.I.P. Dad.
Oh, wow.
Man. Well, mate, it still brings you back.
Isn't our community so toxic? Isn't it incredible?
It's so toxic.
It's unbelievably, like, emotionally wholesome, the community that we have. It's insane.
Oh, man. Look, blessings to you and your father, man. I hope you, like, found out at the end. Theodore McCarthy for $2. Sorry, I'm late. Can you restart? No. It's gone too far.
Usually yes. Normally yes.
Normally yes, but today no. Caleb Knight for €5. Only Orthodox Christianity and auction house speeches have gotten me on board with arguable war crimes. I missed a bit of the stream. Mind restart? No. This particular stream we will not be restarting. A lot of people seem to be into the auction house. I had no idea that World of Warcraft had become so popular again. I don't know. Solon the Lich for 100 us.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much. I would pay for a ticket to watch Ardiana Jones and the Temple. in a movie marathon with The Passion of Christ and Sound of Freedom. F those Moloch worshippers.
Ardeana Jones. That is slick.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Creamer Slinger for $5. Thank you. Artie and Fist, may I suggest at Wild Olive Tree, who is totally anti-moo and dispensationalism, his church is called First Work Baptist Church. I'm not really like about Baptists personally, but thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Theodore McCarthy again for $10.
Oh,
it's
coming out of the woodwork.
Islam and Moodyism are so similar because they are both versions of Semitic civilization. We've been at war with that civilization since before Alexander the Great kicked their butts. Yeah. Wait, what else have we got? Last one. And Limiting Principle Podcast. Hey, Patrick, how's it going? For $5.
Hi, bro.
Yesterday, I learned that Trump had a Kabbalist mystic teacher when he was young, literally studied Kabbalah.
Surprise of absolutely no one. All right, Fist. Hit the gas. Go. Take it.
All right.
Do something with it.
Okay, hang on. Wait.
Even when I get to Tucker, you got a bunch of stuff when I'm at Tucker.
I do. Wait, so where's all the Lindsay stuff that I have? Okay, right. So we got some stuff to like start off with. This is literal heresy, right?
Speaking of performative, yeah. See, this is the stuff that us atheists see and go, "Oh, that's Christianity."
Yeah. I can't even believe this is the thing.
Now his blood is in my body. Yes, sir. It's in there. The Lord directed me to demonstrate some things. I need that little Ziploc bag if you have that. So that the next time you take communion, this will be in your mind's eye. So this
his face
is your cup. Yes, sir. This is my cup. So
fucking grape juice, man. Grape juice. Like what the? Oh yes. This processed grape juice. Like straight from the bottle. Oh my God. Oh, heresy intensifies.
That's the cutting of the covenant.
Whoa.
That's the cutting of the covenant.
Does he also remove his thumb from his body and put it back on? Does he also grab that guy's nose and put it back on his face?
So this is fake, by the way. He's neither
really?
of them are actually.
Okay, I thought this was real Christianity. Okay.
And then I would do the same.
Jesus said, take this cup. This is my blood of the new covenant.
And we mixed our blood.
Right. Which is it?
Oh, God. Gross.
But like...
so yeah, as you can see, he hasn't cut himself at all, right?
Why does drinking blood feel satanic to me? Is there any sect of Christianity where you drink actual blood? Because like, here's the thing too. Some denominations will give ortho bros like shit for being like symbolic, but like it's a symbol. We're not really doing a thing. It's a symbolic gesture.
There's a whole, they nearly fought wars over this question. Actually,
okay.
Right. Yeah. Because the Catholics at one point, right, introduced this idea of like the literal transubstantiation. Right. And then that, oh God, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Which is mine.
And we could never separate.
You can't separate that.
Okay.
Now our blood symbolically has been mixed here.
Yeah.
Now at the communion table.
Yes, sir.
He said, this is my blood of the new covenant. All of you drink all of it. Judas had to drink that.
Yes, sir.
So, now, and I want you to be this way every time you take communion, and you ought to take it a lot. A lot.
What? Like, what are you doing? Like, okay.
Yes, sir.
This guy's literally possessed.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him. Like,
eyes every time.
If that is not freaking demonic, I don't know what is. Like,
it looks like he's wearing a skin suit.
heresy detected. I gotta record like a good version of that. I must for the audience. Now, I just want you to know that it's to hear the words "mooish privilege" has absolutely shook this BBC reporter. Oh, so fucking tired of this.
Only 2 weeks ago, a week before I went away, I opened Twitter on my phone. What did I see? I saw Jewish privilege trending. Do you know how that feels?
There's no way it's real.
Nah, I have no idea how that feels. Like, it gets better though. It gets better.
How frightening that is. How angering that is. It is total white privilege on your part to use the word oppression in such a easy, cavalier manner. You're playing to the gallery.
Wow.
Wow. So Lindsay is still on one, bros, right? I mean, he is now the little Zio war piggy, right? Like he's mate. I gotta say, right? I did not expect this to be his final.
You couldn't
form.
have. Final. No, he's never gonna have a final form. It's gonna be how I was saying. How I got deeper and deeper levels of not caring and not giving a shit. He doesn't have a final form. He just keeps going.
No. I think he's like a Shabbos Pokemon. You know what I mean? Right?
Okay.
he's like, he's like evolving, right? So like, is this his final form, or is there like sort of like a super Shabbos? Right? That'd make a great Pokemon, actually. Shabbos. Oh God. So he's like, there are 3 levels on which the attack and argument. It isn't a debate. Yes, it is. See what I mean, right? That
right.
He's trying to pull it back, right? It's not a debate, right? We're not having a debate. You're not allowed to have.
Said every liberal ever, right? In the free marketplace of ideas.
So there are 3 levels, apparently. There are the practical, the moral, and the theological. Now, if you are taking theological advice from Jim Lindsay, right, then you need your freaking head checked.
Whoa. Wait. Why do you say that?
Decided nobody needs to know what my religion is any longer, and I'll never tell anybody again.
Oh, yeah. It's because he says that he has a religion. He's never going to tell you what it is, which is like what a demon would do when you really.
Yeah, basically. Right. I mean, we should start like a Deadpool or something, you know what I mean, right? Like if Lindsay ever finally like reveals like what his like religion is, but he won't, because it's just like a sort of, it's an identity without an essence.
Yes, and he loves being duplicitous and having plausible deniability. He loves it so much. And then when you try to guess, he goes, haha, wrong again. Yeah, because you won't tell anyone. I know.
So anyone arguing against the Iran war are not just wrong, but also sound insane and or evil to people who know anything about what's going on in the world. So there you go, right? Still, the challenge here is that the issue is polarized deeply, and facts are only minimally persuasive. Perhaps because those facts are bullshit.
I love it, but they keep, it's 2026 in the current year, and they keep trying to analyze what's happening over and over again. And they're like, did you know that some people, no matter what information you give them, it won't be compelling? This is like a giant struggle session at this point, dude. It's killing me.
Yeah. Someone in the chat, Lindsay is obviously mooish. I agree, right? I mean, like he's just
the most mooish thing you can say is, I believe in something. I'm never going to tell you what it is.
The moral argument cuts deeper, and while it's even more clear to me, okay, well, I'm glad it's clear to you, mate. It's clear to fewer people and harder to make persuasively. In fact, it has a high chance of backfiring in the moral fog of war that we're in, and with a population that has been reflexively trained to reject moral arguments thanks to the moralizing of the woke. That's not true. It just bullshit moral arguments.
James Lindsay wakes up every day in a moral fog of war. Okay.
The theological argument is the deepest, but is also the most intractable, sectarian, and bound up with deeply personal issues of identity. You see this everywhere. Catholics believe this. That's just dispensationalist propaganda. Moves of today are not the Israel of the Bible. The hard part is that these beliefs are in part deeply sectarian, even when sects can agree on the relevant scriptures. There's no worldly resolution of sectarian disagreements. They're all, we believe this, you believe that, and nobody is moving and we're right and everyone else is wrong. Oh, okay. Fucking great.
He's such an author, isn't he? You know, all the words he uses are very intentional and necessary.
Thank you for your contribution. 4,700 views, 103 likes, 27 retweets. He's setting the world on fire, bros.
Slaying.
He's just, oh my God, he's just passing into complete irrelevancy. Joel Berry, of course, is like
retweeted, reposted by Vish Bara.
Reposted by Vish Bara. Shout out to Vish Bara. Now again, right, this demonstrates what I'm saying, right? Berry is trying to drag everyone back to phase one, right? We're not having anyone having the conversation is like evil, is a snazzy, right? Like, you know, is into the auction house, right? Like all of this like stuff, okay? Tucker is finally getting to the good stuff, the classic antiseptic conspiracies that have been shared on crypto, snazzy 4chan for years, that have been used to ignite pogroms in the Arab world for decades. Tucker is no longer, quote, hiding his power levels, and they're thrilled. Oh God, I hate it when normies try and speak.
Now he's, I mean, but this is what the left did. Like now you're a mask off racist. Now you're mask off. Meanwhile, I've been like nothing different, but now I mask off.
Yeah, just admit it, bro. Just admit, right? And then there's this guy. Lindsay retweeted this. He's basically a no one, as far as I can tell, at least based on his like views. And so he's basically pushing this. This is sort of like one of the current attack things they're using against Tucker. They're saying basically that he's the same as Father Coughlin, and you know, it's very, very bad because like Coughlin. Apparently, according to this, right, Coughlin basically got shut down when the FBI just discovered like a bunch of people who were like planning a plot. Okay. Well, I certainly like believe that there was nothing like spicy about that. Oh wait, did it just remove my my highlight? Here we go. Right. Fast forward to 2026 on X. The same grievances, the same media power, the same Catholic nationalist edge, but supercharged by instant global reach and an alliance with Islam. I don't think the Catholics are
alliance.
Yeah.
So, dude, just because any random person says something on the internet, they go, "That's a movement right there." Meanwhile, world mooery. I mean, we can just turn a blind eye to that. It's comical.
No, well, it's that sort of dialectical splitting thing. You know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Like where you define what is good and what is bad, right? And if you share any points with the people that you say are bad, then therefore you're bad. But what really struck me was this thing about the same grievances. Okay, so the grievances are still there. The grievances have not been addressed. Okay, well, if the grievances have not been addressed, if these people have had the same grievances for like 100 years at this point, these grievances have not been addressed, then does that mean that democracy has failed? Democracy is supposed to address these grievances, or does it mean that from this guy's point of view, these grievances are effectively haram, right? We are not listening to these grievances, right? You can fuck off with your grievances, in which case, how the fuck is that democracy, right? Democracy is the idea you should be able to express your grievances, not
and
those.
That everyone should be able to vote on how they don't care, and no one does anything. That's democracy.
Yeah. And I would argue that one of the reasons that the political systems in the West are like completely shut on at the moment, no one believes in them, is because of this exact dynamic. You've just stopped listening to the grievances of your people because you're like, oh, well, we're not listening to those grievances. But the actual events on the ground that drove those grievances haven't gone away. In fact, they've gotten much, much, much worse. And the more and more you ignore these grievances, right, the worse and worse they get. And the more it becomes obvious that you're not there to like represent everyone. You're not there to listen to everyone's grievances. You never were. You never gave a fuck. So, yeah, so there's that. And so then... is this the I've got stuff on the war. Should we do the war before we go into like Tucker?
We should just get into Tucker because I feel like we're going to keep going back to Tucker. It's going to deviate and then we're going to go back to it.
Okay, well, I just have a brief summary of what's going on.
Yeah.
In the war. Okay. Like let me just like get this out. It'll take like 20 minutes maybe. So remember this guy?
Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say. And he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty.
That was a beauty.
Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none.
So I just want to point something out here to everyone, right? They know exactly what you want, right? They know what it is you want. They know you're yearning to be free, right? They know, right? And they just tell you what it is that you want to get into power, and then they turn around and they fuck you. And like, I hate it.
I can even believe that this wasn't Trump's intention the entire time. It's that when it's time, the moos flock to you when it's time. They started surrounding him. They really started surrounding him when they had to. Literally surrounding him. We covered it. Mark Levin literally had this greasy.
I mean, how much pressure could you literally withstand being surrounded by like Mark Levins and Loomis and all this kind of like other stuff, right? Like,
well, also being a president is kind of like being a hot chick. You know, I've been a hot chick in my life before, and you know, like a woman, especially a woman that gets along with men, just wants to get along with men, but they all want to fuck you, right? Can't have a friend. And at a certain point, a woman goes, I'm just going to turn this awareness off so I can exist in the world, right? Being the president, you're like, everybody wants to backstab me. At a certain point, you're resolved. You're going to be paranoid. You're not going to be able to trust anybody. And and the moos have a very heightened awareness of how to do this effectively.
Yeah. And then there's that scam as well, where they'll literally like make up threats against you and then save you from them. So they can be like, you know, we are the only people you can trust, you know, like all this stuff about how apparently it was Iran that tried to like assassinate him. I have not seen any legit stuff on that. I don't know, but it sounds dicey. So this is basically what's been happening. The US has been bombing the shit out of Iran. Now, apart from that, I just want to like mention what's likely to happen in the rest of the world. The Strait of Hormuz has been closed. What this means is that all of the Gulf countries can no longer export oil and natural gas. They can also no longer import food. Everyone is fleeing Dubai. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, the Gulf Cooperation Council, all those countries around the Gulf, are a big part of America's success because they basically are the basis for the petrodollar, right? So the reason why everyone needs US dollars is because you can only buy energy products from the Gulf with US dollars. They won't sell it in any other currency. So this is a bit like legal tender where you can only pay your taxes in a certain currency, right? There's like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A sort of coercive edge to it, right?
Yeah.
So oil prices are like massively up. It's gone up even more since this tweet. This tweet is like 6:20 p.m. It's already up like a few more dollars. It's going to be like 100 before you know. If you've got to make any big purchases, particularly like electronics or anything, buying a computer, do it now. Do it right the fuck now, because a week from now,
this is here to save the fellows $1. Okay.
Yeah. A week from now, 2 weeks from now, it could like double in price. Just saying, right? China has cut all fuel exports. Russia is threatening to cut fuel exports to Europe. This is like so hilarious, right? So like Putin's just like, well, the Europeans have been saying they're going to stop using Russian oil. Maybe we should just like stop it now, right? Oh my God, what a troll, right? CENTCOM wants more personnel. They're going to try and like take the war through to September. If that happens, a ton of countries are going to collapse, right?
Yeah.
Lots. Qatar has completely shut down their natural gas production because they can't ship it out. You see what I mean? Because with the straits closed. There are indications that a bunch of other GCC countries are going to do likewise. This is going to be really, really bad. And I don't know like how this is going to go out, right? Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, and Qatar, again, the same GCC countries, are saying that they might start pulling their money out of the US. And recently, BlackRock got hit with like a bunch of redemption requests that total like 16% of their funds under management, which is a lot of fucking money. They capped it at 5%. Other sort of private equity firms are starting to give out IOUs. It's bad, bro. It's very, very bad. Let me see. So Trump has basically said, so this one of the other things is that Lloyd's of London, a lot of the most shipping in the world is insured out of London, right? This is one of the only reasons why the UK is sort of still relevant, okay? And Lloyd's has just announced that they're going to stop insuring all shipping going through the Strait of Hormuz. This is very, very bad. If the ship doesn't have insurance, they can't get funding, so they can't sail. Trump has said that he's going to like get the US Navy to start escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. But if he does that, those ships are going to get like fired on. If one of those ships gets sunk, everything's going to go to shit. So, you know, I don't know what's going to like happen. It's going to be bad, right? Every country is now running a set of numbers based on how much oil and gas they have left. And this is starting to make me wonder whether the whole green electricity push was simply about this. Wasn't anything to do with climate change, right? It was all because they knew that this war was coming. And when it came, right, the oil supply is going to be shut off. And so they needed like, you know, quote unquote, renewable energy in order to keep their economies going. I can't prove this, but I always thought there was something very fishy about the whole climate change thing and how long have they been planning this for, right? A war like this is not something you just, you know, you wake up like one day and you're like, we're going to do a war tomorrow. You need very, very serious planning. Japan has 254 days left. China has apparently like 10 days left. I have heard that China actually has very, very deep oil reserves. And plus they can get supply from Russia. So it's not as big of a problem. India has been basically getting...
It's easy for China to do that when they're not infiltrated. And they can be painfully nationalist, let's say.
So Trump just turned around and basically said to India that they can like use Russian oil. In fact, there are rumors that Trump's basically going to turn around and stop all sanctions on Russian oil, which would be humiliating for the Europeans. Obviously, the Europeans are going to have to turn around and basically start asking the Russians for oil, maybe like fire up Nord Stream again. Only one of the Nord Stream pipelines was destroyed, by the way. The other one's like still perfectly fine, right? But the Europeans like, Russia, Putin's so bad, right? And of course, the Americans have been leaning on them as well, right? Pakistan has no strategic reserve. Bangladesh has no strategic reserve. So when the energy in those countries like runs out, don't worry, they can always move to the UK. It's more God's law, mate. It's more God's law. No matter what happens anywhere in the world, the result is like more Browns moving to the UK. So it's bad, bros. It's looking really, really bad. Everyone, of course, is wondering what the European Union is going to do.
Baby, we got a problem. We might have to stop the war.
What? But we've already been...
I know, man, I know. But something happened that we did not anticipate.
Well, how? We've infiltrated every single aspect of...
Because they waited days to do it, man. Days. They really caught us napping this time.
Pull yourself together, Donald. Talk to me.
I don't know how to say this, BB, but there's been a statement of utmost concern from the Europeans.
Those bottle caps better be attached to the missiles, Donald.
They're like, Monsieur President, you violated the Ayatollah's data privacy.
Your aircraft carriers are rated C- for energy efficiency.
I'm screaming. Boy, we could go on for weeks like this.
Oh, we will.
Weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and...
Man,
Not an ounce of fat on that.
I got to find these guys. It's fucking hilarious. But all of this setting the entire world on fire is very, very, very important, right? Why? Because World War II. Oh, I'm so sick of World War II. World War II delenta est. We just, oh, God.
The big questions that I think you're going to hear from a lot of the senators is why now there was no imminent threat. We know that's what Mark Warner is already saying. What will you say to that? And what do you expect the Trump folks will say to that?
I think that's a ridiculous idea that there's no imminent threat from a regime who chants death to America since 1979. There's no imminent threat from a regime that sponsored Hezbollah, who killed 220 Marines and 18 sailors in 1983 in Lebanon. Go tell it to the families of IED victims in Iraq and Afghanistan, sponsored by Iran, that this regime is no threat. You know, in 1939, 35, I don't know if Hitler was an imminent threat, but I wish somebody would have dealt with him.
He said the word.
Wow.
Mustache man.
Is it really gonna be like this for the rest of my life? This is what they go to? Is what they appeal to?
Mate, I think so, right? Like, I mean, the boomers are just like, they just refuse to like step down, man. They're still in everything is World War II. It's like everyone else has fucking moved on. Okay. Let's time for Tucker. Let's do super chats.
Yes.
And we can get on to Tucker.
Fucking thick.
All right. Deadpool Kid for $5. And then
proud?
you shall take up serpents and speak in tongues and dance like wild Africans. Amen. Yes, precisely.
Yeah. You just you just drink the blood, dance like the Africans.
Yep, and handle snakes and like speak in like demonic gibberish.
Hey,
Now
I'm just a stupid atheist. That could be Christianity. I got no idea.
Now that's Christianity.
Very old fashioned.
Last remembrance for $5. This is his blood, and it's also good for kidney stones and urinary tract infection, rich in vitamin C.
Dude, it's his face the entire time, like he thinks he's casting voodoo. He looks like he thinks he is.
Yeah. All right, mate. Discourse for $5. Thank you, mate. Urge to insult rising. I'm praying, bros. I'm praying. Yeah.
He is fasting from insulting people for Lent, and I just got one thing to say to him. What an asshole! Imagine that. Imagine I just start insulting him over and over again. I'm just kidding, dude.
Look,
man. So I have to do. I'm the conduit, right? But he can't enjoy me insulting people. So he's gonna be praying for me and praying for the people that I'm insulting during Lent.
Best of luck with Lent. All right, discourse. Theodore McCarthy for $5. Thank you. The rite of the Eucharist was established by Christ himself at the Last Supper. Watching heretics exploit it is nauseating. Yeah, I agree. Like, honestly, dude. Molokai for 20 secs. Before I was talking about Shia LaBeouf.
No,
not Islam.
It's Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
He's a Shia LaBeouf.
Oh God. FB for $10.
Oh yeah, bro.
Thank you very much. Some leftists claim morality is purely relative until they want power. Then morality suddenly becomes objective, so they can shame others. That double standard is pretty weaselly. Yeah,
it's
I
that
agree.
quote: "When I don't have power, I ask for your mercy." Because because that's according to your principles. When I do have power, I show you no mercy because it's according to my principles. It's just classic.
Yeah, that's from June, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Isaac for $20.
Hello there.
Look at him go.
Here we go. All right, you ready?
Sorry,
Can
I'm
you
late.
do it?
I know I've missed so much. Can you go back in time and redo all the streams since Monday? I was away at a conference since Monday. Remember bear jogging?
No, Bears Run the World, Blood and Soil, 14, auction house idiot. Come on. I just love the idea that he types like that, but also is important enough to go to a conference. I have no idea what any of these people's lives are when they say these things. Oh, wait, a conference. There's no way that they know you're like that on the inside.
What kind of a conference was it? Was it Isaac? Was it, was it auction house conference?
A convention.
On a party for 2 Canadian loonies. Hey guys, can you slow down? Chat's too fast.
We can't do anything right. We just can't do anything right.
Jack B. Nimble for $10. Thank you very much.
Bro.
The $7,000 club is out in full force on X. One said that if you weren't online, you wouldn't know about the war, but gas has just gone up $1.15 in my area in just a week. I hope they get a Moose reward.
Yeah, I noticed that my gas went up like 60 cents a gallon. Quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be like, even though America is energy self-sufficient, because there's like a global market in energy products. any spike is basically reflected across the entire world because it's a free market. So if Trump wanted to like do that, he'd have to go very much against free market principles and start, cutting off oil exports, which he might do, right? But which would be like insane. Theodore McCarthy for $5. Thank you. 2022 was the year most boomers turned 65 or older. 2032, most will be 75 or older. Trump is the last boomer president. Iran is the last front of World War II. Oh God, I hope so.
I
I'm
right.
so sick of it,
That is wishful thinking right there. That I can't wait for.
And Isaac, you have for $2. Montana Land Surveyor Conference.
Dude, you just lost yourself. Now everyone knows your name.
No, I can't read the icons. I got a second screen because I'm traveling on my laptop, so I can't.
It's silverware.
Nose silverware.
And then a guy.
I don't know. Well, I hope you enjoyed surveying the lands of Montana. It sounds nice. Okay, so we on to Tucker. Actually, we're doing all right for time, mate. We're only an hour 10 in. So
there's a lot here, dude. Okay, yeah. You're just gonna sit here and patiently watch this next Tucker segment and not have me pause it continuously, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's how I roll, right?
Let's get into it. He's gonna give a nice little overview in the beginning. Okay.
Okay.
It's a safe bet that almost no one involved in the war now ongoing in Iran and the Gulf. Continue much longer. If you were to poll, well, the Iranians or the Americans, basically anybody, how long do you want this to go? Very few people would say.
Okay, so now
I've been
told.
But that doesn't mean it won't go a long
Try
time.
VPN.
Unfortunately, it is likely to. It's unlikely to be resolved anytime soon. Of course, that could prove to be. It's an utterly dynamic situation.
I'm gonna lose it. I'm going.
They've bet that almost no one involved has been political, and it's the biggest question of all, which is who runs the world, who gets to make the decisions, not simply who's richest, but who makes the rules, who sets the terms. And for most of our lifetimes, there has been no question about that. The answer has been the United States. The United States sets the rules. The United States runs the world. That's been true in the western half of the world since 1945, when the U.S. emerged stronger and richer than any other nation after the end of World War II. And it's been true since August of 1991, 35 years ago, after the collapse.
It's also important to note that we this entire time we've been subverted. It wasn't like we did this clean as a nation that really cared about the nation the entire time. Like, no. This entire process has been, an element of being manufactured in the background just to steer us toward where we are now.
Yeah, well, and fucking Christian Zionism, man. Like, it just, it weirds me out that, they call themselves the evangelicals. I suspect that name was specifically chosen because calling them like Christian Zionists, like, might raise questions.
Oh, right.
Before I became a Christian, I was like, what are the evangelicals? Like, what exactly? Oh, it's the Christian Zionists. By the way, put it on 1.25 speed. I think the speed reset when you reloaded it.
You are a cunning little boy. Okay.
Of the Soviet Union. The United States has reigned in a unipolar world, as they call it. There's just one pole. There's one center of gravity. There's one power center, and that's been the United States. But that has changed over the past several years, maybe decades, certainly since China was admitted into the WTO in 2001. Now it is a multipolar world. You've heard that phrase, no doubt. And that means there are at least a couple centers of gravity. Really, there are two. There's the U.S. and the constellation of states with which it's allied. And then there is, on the eastern hemisphere of the globe, China. And China is now a peer with the United States, at least, almost no matter how you measure it. Population, of course, much bigger. Military power, well, we're not quite sure, but certainly from a technological and industrial output standpoint, at least a peer. And then on a pure economic level, well, China has a bigger economy, a bigger real economy than the United States. So yes, China is a peer. And so the question is, since you now have two countries that are roughly evenly matched, we think, we never do know until they come into conflict, but they seem roughly evenly matched, who gets to set the terms for commerce and diplomacy and everything else that happens on the globe? Well, if you were to reach a diplomatic solution, there would be, in effect, a power sharing agreement between these two countries. You take the East, I take the West. Here are the terms. But unfortunately, no such agreement, formal or informal, has been reached for a bunch of reasons. It's everybody's fault. But one of the reasons is almost nobody in Washington can get his head around the current, present, obvious reality, which is, no, we don't run everything anymore. We are in competition, not necessarily in conflict, but in competition with this other country that's at least as powerful as we are, called China, different system, language, culture, etc., but at least every bit as powerful. And so you can't make unilateral decisions anymore. It's sort of that moment that many parents face when used to barking orders at their kids, they realize the kid is taller than them.
And so is this in relation to us just kind of just doing whatever we want, like there's not going to be any consequences, essentially?
Yeah, basically, right. The unipolar moment, right, when the US sort of emerged after the fall of the Soviet Union, so like after like 1993, and declared itself like a hyperpower, is very, very weird. Like my theory on this is that you cannot run the entire world. Okay, everyone who has tried has failed. It's too complicated, and you always get these people, they're trying to like fudge it. They're like, oh, this time we'll have AI, or we'll invent some global religion, or we'll, like, no. It's too complicated. And so weirdly enough, the unipolar moment was actually very, very unstable, because what you're trying to do is run a world empire. And what you wind up, the problem with empires is that you always wind up sort of running around, putting out fires, like all this kind of like stuff. Empires are like very, very sort of heavy and static, and they try and impose like sort of one kind of like thought regime on the entire world, and inevitably like just leads to trouble. The British Empire was like that as well. You know what I mean, right? Like, had all these fucking like problems. I think that Tucker is correct, but I think the principal thing sort of like blocking this realization is this idea that was like known as like the end of history. This was Francis Fukuyama, like after the collapse of the Soviets, right? It was destined that every country in the world would become a liberal democracy. What the fuck are you talking about? Just by force, right? Like
that's isn't that sound like a version of communism?
Yeah. We will force everyone to be democratic at the point of a gun. And I think what this was really about was essentially just installing Moorish overlords, right? Because one of the things about democracy, you see this all the time in the West, is that people just fight each other continually. And it essentially engenders like a just sort of weird sickness in people. Aidan Paladin actually did like a great video on this that I'm going to like reference again, where she dug into all this research about how democracy basically makes people mentally ill, because every 4 years people come out and they're like, oh, it's the most important election ever. But it's not. You have no control. It's just a lie. And so you're constantly sort of revving up people into this sort of like excited conflict that changes nothing, and it just spreads like mental illness.
So now, scooting along, we have, I think, here he's going to be setting up Titus in 70 AD.
Crucified. As it happens, so that's the religion. Here's the history. About 37 years later, in that range, in 70 AD, Titus, the emperor, the Roman Empire, got into quite a conflict with the Jews of Judea and Jerusalem. And it's complex and incredibly brutal, but the bottom line was, in AD 70, the Romans besieged Jerusalem, finally broke through the walls, and tore that temple stone from stone. Not a single stone left upon another.
Now, is that the first temple? Is that something that you covered on history?
The first temple. So there's when Tucker says it's complicated, right? So I'll give you a potted version. Okay, so the Moors were in Jerusalem. Judea had been like conquered by the Romans. The Moors had like a bunch of like fanatics they called like zealots, right? And they made like an uprising. They killed everyone in the Roman garrison. They killed every single Roman man, woman, and child they could like come across. Right? Like nothing ever changes. Okay. When was Titus the emperor? Anyway, I think he sent Hadrian. I think Hadrian was the governor or something like that. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, he was like very, very pissed off. And so he went in, he sent like, oh my God, it was like 12 legions, or just an insane amount of soldiers into Judea, and just kicked their asses like so badly, right? Same rules, right? Men, women, children, burned all the holy books, sacked the temple, took all the gold, removed, like destroyed the entire thing. And the Moors are still butthurt about it to this day, basically, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. They then went into exile. There's indications that this event was so cataclysmic. It essentially created
This
like
makes
a
sense how
genetic
they taught
bottleneck.
the American blacks to really hold a grudge with slavery. They're like, dude, the best thing you can do is hold this insane historical grudge. It works for us.
Yeah. But at the same time, they encourage the whites not to hold any kind of historical grudges, right? Like, because nothing bad ever happened to white people ever, basically, right? So you get
I
this
say
potted
that in the
version-
mirror every morning I wake up.
So you get this potted history, right? This like thin gruel, right? Like it's like basically eat the bugs version of history.
Slop, so to speak.
Yeah, slop history. You get history slop, right? Where like, nothing bad has ever happened to the whites, right? Like you're responsible for like everything, but they get to hold like all the historical grudges that they want.
Terrific.
Really a kind of dedication to destruction that's hard for the modern mind to imagine. We talk about genocide, genocide that. The Romans tried to genocide the Jews for real. And they succeeded in destroying the temple. And with it, temple Judaism, Torah Judaism. You can't have the religion that existed before AD 70, after AD 70, because there's no temple. And so this has been an open wound for 2,000 years, and certainly understandably, people have wanted to rebuild the temple, to build what they call the third temple, to reestablish this religion at its birthplace. There are a couple problems with this. One, exactly 500 years after Titus destroyed the temple in AD 70, in AD 570, a man called Muhammad was born in Mecca and built one of the world's great religions, the world's second largest religion, as it stands today, in a very short period. His name was Muhammad. He was born in Mecca. He died in nearby Medina. But in the meantime, he built or inspired the building of, within 50 years of his death, one of the great religious monuments in the world, certainly one of the prettiest, called the Dome of the Rock. And it's in Jerusalem on Moriah, in fact, built over the foundation stone. And if you've ever been to Jerusalem, or if you've ever seen photographs of it, you will remember vividly a gold dome. It's called the Dome of the Rock. Why is it called that? Because there's a rock underneath it, the foundation stone, that is built on the site of the Second Temple. And that's within what's known as the Al.
You really got to hand it to Tucker to try to hurry up and get like Americans on board with what's going on spiritually with what's happening. Like, it really is incredible.
I can't believe, right, that Tucker is talking about this stuff. I actually did a history episode on the first and second temple and all the stuff that like happened. You can check it out. I put it in the chat. Arden, maybe if you could repost that, mate. It's so weird, right? Like no wonder they like, mate, they really want Tucker dead. They must have figured out.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, they're salty, all right.
Al-Aqsa complex. There's a mosque next door called the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And that spot is one of three holy places, apparently co-equal holy places in Islam: Mecca, Medina, Dome of the Rock, Al-Aqsa. So that is at the very center of Judaism. I mean, physically the center of Judaism, that spot, that exact spot over the foundation stone, and Islam. And it has been occupied by a mosque. A mosque has been sitting there since the 7th century, since the late 600s.
Scoot this forward a little bit. I believe this. Oh yeah.
No, don't do that kind of history. No. Like, wouldn't you rather talk about slavery or the Holly or like anything else?
That's
Like,
incredible.
don't talk about this kind of history.
Don't listen to Amelia right now.
Oh my
Let's
God.
read the account of the only attempt ever made at rebuilding the Third Temple. And this comes from a personal friend of Julian the Apostate who wrote it contemporaneously. And we still have it, amazingly, all these years later. I'm quoting: Julian thought to rebuild at an extravagant expense the proud temple once at Jerusalem and committed this task to Alypius of Antioch. Alypius set vigorously to work and was seconded by a governor of the province when fearful balls of fire
Wait,
breaking out near the foundation.
Okay, so Tucker's skipping over a lot of stuff here, right? But Julian the Apostate was like really bad emperor. And he was trying to reintroduce paganism back into Rome after the conversion to Christianity. And Julian was like, hey, I really like to sacrifice stuff, right? And, all the Christians are like, no, we don't do that. And so he was like, hey, I hear you Moos like to do some sacrifice. And why don't you come and like sacrifice stuff with me, right? And the moons are like, oh, well, we can't do it anywhere except the temple. We need the temple back. And of course, right, following the classic pattern, there were like moons all around him and stuff like that. He was like afraid of his own people. No. Like you've seen it a billion times before. And so Julian is like, oh, well, then let's rebuild the temple. This would be great, right? Like, puts all this money into it. No, nothing sus about that. I don't want to hear anyone saying that there's anything sus about this. And then it all goes wrong. They try and rebuild the temple. And yeah, I think Tucker's going to get onto this bit.
Nations of the building continued their attacks till the workmen, after repeated scorchings, could approach no more. And he gave up the attempt. By the way, just a few months later, Emperor Julian the Apostate was killed. You know what he was killed doing? Invading Iran.
I love that. He does the classic Tucker. Look at how elated he is. He does the classic Tucker laugh. Invading Iran. I mean, that is hilarious, right?
Literally invading Iran in 363. Yeah, he was killed doing that. So it was during his invasion of Iran that he decided to rebuild the temple. You can't make this up. And we're not making up. It's real. And by the way, there was an earthquake at the same time. There are many accounts of what happened when they tried to rebuild it. And all of them describe the earth rending and flames coming out. And it all sounds kind of spooky and supernatural. Like it's just too perfect, right? Jesus tears down the temple and begins this new relationship with God directly through him. No need for a building anymore in Jerusalem, a city he went out of his way not to spend the night in, walk over to the Mount of Olives, even after the Last Supper, but whatever. And there's this one attempt by a guy who hates Christians.
Can I just point out, right, that the Christians after this happened, right? So, okay, just to recap, they try and rebuild the temple, and all of this fire starts coming out of the earth, right? All these like builders get like scorched. They like wake up the next day, their tools are all gone. There's like all kinds of like crazy stuff going on, okay? And so they have to abandon rebuilding it. And all the Christians are like, yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. like compared to like this, this modern thing that like, oh, to be Christian is just to like, let everyone like walk over you and no. The Christians back then were like, yeah, that's what you get trying to rebuild the temple. Fuck you. It's crazy.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to an IDF soldier.
Suggesting that U.S. commanders told their troops they were doing this for some weird anti-Christian reason posing as Christianity. But it's not just the U.S. side. Here's an IDF soldier, apparently an American by his accent, describing why he's at war. Watch this.
They call this operation the Swords of Iron. But what are we really fighting for? We're fighting for the right of the Jewish people to exist, be Jewish, practice their religion, and be free.
Can you pause
and
this
one
for a
day
sec?
our true leader will come and we'll be...
The way this is framed, right? Fighting for the right to just exist, right? Well, what do you need for your existence? Oh, we need like every single country in the Middle East. Like it's not like the way they frame it. It's like, oh, I just want to be like left alone. Oh, well, what do you need to exist? Oh yeah, I need to like start preemptive wars against like all of my neighbors and like.
Well,
take
it just sounds so familiar though. Weren't trans people saying that they're just trying to exist? Haven't we heard that with other minority groups before?
Yeah, I have heard that. It's almost like this all springs from like one source. I can't think what that source might be though, bros.
Oh, I think it's the Moos, because all 9,000 Mooish NGOs have only ever helped non-white, non-straight identity groups in the United States. So that's why I think that. Yeah.
I thought there'd be like tons of Mooish groups like trying to help white Christian.
Oh no, dude, you're fucking retarded. There's zero. You're a moron. No, I don't believe anything. Nope, not even close. Zero. One would be too many if you said that. Zero.
Yeah.
united as a whole Jewish nation so we can rebuild the Beit HaMikdash.
Beit HaMikdash, probably mispronouncing it. That's the Hebrew term for the temple, the third temple. We are doing this so we can rebuild the temple. Now you'll notice he's pulling off patches on Velcro on his IDF uniform. These are not civilian clothes. This is the uniform of the government of Israel, of its military. And he has patches on that uniform, one of which is a symbol of the temple, the third temple. So it just couldn't be clearer. Why are we doing this? To rebuild the third temple. Now, if you think we're just cherry picking this off the internet, one guy wearing an unauthorized temple patch paid for.
I keep having to profusely apologize to people that have J-spurged, and I was trashing them for J-spurging. The amount of time that it takes to explain these things You really have to like. It's as if like they're about to assassinate you at any moment, and you're on the microphone in front of a podium, and you're trying to get everything out as quickly as possible until they pull the trigger.
And then basically, right? They say like, oh, the fact that this is like a very complicated and historically intricate subject just illustrates how bullshit it is, right? But if you look at the way they describe their own history, right? Oh, that's incredibly like complicated and historically intricate, but that's different.
Wait a minute. Can you pull up that Joel Berry post again? Was he referring to this? When Joel Berry was like, this is like the classic anti.
Yeah, that's right.
He's referring to this video, right?
He's referring to this video.
Has anyone heard any of this aside from Fist? Yeah, we all know these tropes, right? No, he's educating us. We're actually all hearing this for the first time right now.
I mean, there was some of it on 4chan, but like,
right? But these are the classic anti-Semitic conspiracies. Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're trying to like rebuild the third temple and stuff like. But I mean, again, it's that classic thing, right? Like everyone's like, oh, Greater Israel is a conspiracy theory, and then of course suddenly it isn't. And then they just move on to like the next thing. They're just like fighting like a rearguard action, and every single time they do this, the saying that it's a conspiracy theory carries less and less and less and less weight because they lied.
Well, but here's the thing: they love plausible deniability. So if they call it a conspiracy theory, they're not saying that it's a lie or that it's not true necessarily. That's why they say that. It's a lie or it's not true.
It's a lie, right? And
they say
one of the things that really strikes me about these people and their hangers-on is because they don't really believe in any kind of truth. They don't think that there's any downside to lying, right? They just lie all the fucking time. Like they're like the ultimate optics figs in that sense. You know what I mean, right?
But it's the ultimate like, is this person dumb or evil, right? And I don't know which ones are dumb and which ones are evil. Well, like, useful idiots, and it's all. Like, is James Lindsay dumb or evil?
Oh, I don't know.
Is he smart enough to be evil? I don't think he is. I don't know. I think he's just dumb.
I mean, I think he's just gotten hit with the goy beam, mate. I think he got a triple. I think he got a triple dose of the goy beam, right? And he's got like stars in his eyes. Pardon the pun, right?
But,
he's like,
at no point does he shake his head and go, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna come to my senses now." He got really dosed with that thing, huh?
I got a theory that it's sort of like they traumatize you and then they hit you with the beam. You know what I mean, right? It's like, they first they hurt you, then they like save you. And they're like, oh, be grateful to us. We just like pulled your ass out of the fire. It's like, yeah, but you put me in the fire in the first place. Oh, let's not think about that. You know what I mean? Right? Like,
right, but didn't James Lindsay put himself into the fire with what he said about, actually, he probably said what he said about St. Michael because he was hanging with the Moose, right?
No. This was earlier. Remember we covered it on that history stream we did of him, right? He started talking about neo-Marxism and the links to Mooery. And then all of a sudden, that cancel shop, that Mooish cancel shop, just like did that whole like hit piece on him being involved with Nixium. And he thinks that it was quote unquote the left that did it. I'm like, just look at them, right? Like look at I forget what it was called, Open Secrets or something, right?
Yeah.
By the way, a uniform paid by us, armaments paid for by us. The U.S. taxpayer pays for all this stuff one way or another. The U.S. taxpayer pays for the military of Israel. Boy, does it. If you think we're being unfair and just like found one guy, well, here's a bunch of guys. It took us about 2 minutes on the internet to find this today. Here is a selection of IDF soldiers.
I swear, he's just going on X. Now, this is the new pipeline of information for news.
Tucker, don't go on the internet. That's where all the conspiracy theories live.
Now, when someone is hiding their sources, they're just hiding their IP address at this point.
So I was talking to you about this before the stream, right? I would bet you like Tucker has an anonymous Twitter account, right? That no one knows that it's his, and I bet he follows like Chris Manahan and like a bunch of like the same people that we follow. I mean, like, for all we know, mate, he could be watching this stream. Tucker, if you're a fan, shout out to you, mate. You never know.
I really don't want him to have access to our personal digital on the ground correspondent, but he has to get his own, okay?
Put it on the screen. There you go. And all of them have the same past. Look for me. Look carefully at that. What is that? That's the temple. That is the third temple. And we'll get to in a minute about how this might actually happen and what it would mean for the rest of the world. And just to be clear, these are conversations that most Americans, certainly me included, never wanted to have. Everybody's religious beliefs, sincere religious beliefs, when held up to the light of the rational world, to the man-made world, seem a little spooky and crazy, which is one of the reasons that in the culture some of us grew up in, we don't talk about them in public because they're personal. They're the most personal part of a person. So it is without judgment, by the way, that we're airing this, okay? Just describing it because it is significant to the future of the world, to the future of this war, and to our future as Americans. So how exactly did the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, a military that the U.S. taxpayer pays for, that lots of wealthy Americans send money to friends of the IDF, how did all these guys wind up wearing patches suggesting the point of this war?
And so when he's talking about the world, he does a really good job. His writers are great. Whoever helps him put this together.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you as the layman, right? Describing the religious significance of this. And when he says the world, these are the major religions. I didn't show it, but he paints the picture of these are the major religions in the world. And this is what it means to them. And it means something different to all three of them. And so, yeah.
No, I mean, and this is the point, right? He is systematically destroying phase one, right? By saying,
yes.
Look, okay, we are allowed to have this conversation. Okay, this whole thing of trying to keep everyone in phase one and be like, you're not allowed to have this conversation because anyone even having this conversation is anti-citrus. It's not washing anymore, and it shouldn't be, right? Like, I mean, this is the most powerful military in the world. Okay, striking a country that is right next to the linchpin of American petro dominance, right? And what, we're not allowed to talk about it? Like, it always, in my opinion, it always winds up this way, right? Because when phase one is active, the Moos essentially are immune from any criticism, and then they take that and they just run with it, right? They don't. It's not like they do the whole we're immune from criticism. We're just gonna like keep ourselves to ourselves and like not do anything.
They gotta do as much damage. It's like with the trans kids. They gotta do as much damage as quickly as humanly possible because of what it takes to undo it.
Yeah, and then sooner or later, shit gets out of control, and everyone's like, "Listen, we've got to talk about this." And they're like, "Oh, you can't talk about it." And you're like, "Listen, man,
you're hurting me." You're talking. Ooh.
I might have just stabbed you in the back, but you're not allowed to talk about it. It's like, yeah, I've got to go to hospital and like tell my doctor about this. You still shouldn't talk about it, you know.
Well, speaking of talking about it, we're about to Shabbat about it right now. Okay, so get your Shabbat ready.
Was the destruction of one of the holiest places in Islam and the rebuilding of a temple that is totally anathema to Christianity. Like, how did this happen? Well, there are a lot of ways it happened. The main way it happened is because no one in the United States noticed, because it's such a secular place. And as noted, we have eyes but can't see and ears and can't hear. But this has been going on a long time in public through, in part, the efforts of a group called Habad, C-H-A-B-A-D. And you may know people who give money to Habad or run into Habad, super nice people, engaged in all kinds of charitable activities, drug rehab.
What, do you have anything to add to that?
I do. So watch how these guys react when this dude mentions Habad. I've actually had this experience. I was talking to a Moorish guy I know about Habad, and he just looked at me like, how do you know about that? You know what I mean?
You got $1 by any chance? No, sorry. No? Yo, how do I get in the Shabbat Lubavitch?
Oh wow.
like it's you're not supposed to know about Habad. Right? Like, you're not supposed to know about the Lubavitches. Okay. Like that's, you know,
and they're raised from an early age that you're not supposed to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You know, there's a lot about Habad that's really good. But what is Habad exactly? Well, Habad, you can look it up, is a very old organization, about 250 years old. And it's a branch of Hasidic Judaism. It's an organization that was overseen for many years by a guy called Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, who was famously in Brooklyn, considered the Messiah by some of his followers.
In Brooklyn, New York City has never been American. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, it hasn't.
It's
been
unbelievable
American for a long time. Like, yeah, and Habad are like they're mate, they're crazy, right? Like from the Gentile perspective, they're like crazy, and they've been basically saying, oh, you can't criticize Habad. They do charity work. Bitch, so did Scientology. So did the People's Temple. So did Jim Jones, right? Like that is not. Yeah, that is not a defense, right? Just because they do like charity.
They're the original sociopathic philanthropists.
Who was a friend of presidents, or certainly someone presidents visited. He was a very powerful man in the Orthodox and the Hasidic community. And he was the overseer of Habad, which predated him and outlasted him, but he was its most visible ambassador. And Habad has been pushing in a pretty subtle way, unless you look carefully, for the reconstruction of the Third Temple. And it seems like, from the reading we did recently, that those patches actually came from Habad. In any case, Habad is pushing for the building of the Third Temple. But it's not just Hasidic groups from Brooklyn, and it's not just IDF soldiers. There are, amazingly, a lot of American evangelical leaders, Christian Zionists, whose main point is rebuilding the Third Temple. Now, how could an American Christian, or any Christian, call for the building of a temple?
Well, what do we mean by Christian exactly?
Exactly. What kind of Christian? I really should get that clip from Civil War and replace the dude's rifle with like a big ass cross or something like that. What kind of Christian are you? Do you even know? Oh, dude.
Whose inherent presence denies Christ, who said clearly, and Christians believe this, it's a core point of faith, I am the temple. You want to speak to God, you speak through me. That's Christianity. That's the whole religion right there. So if you're a Christian preacher calling for the rebuilding of the Third Temple, you kind of missed the.
So the one of the underappreciated points about this is that because the Pharisees controlled the temple and they controlled access to God, supposedly, as you can imagine, they exploited this ruthlessly, right? Like, if you wanted to like get anywhere near the temple, you had to have the right bloodline. You had to do this, you had to do that. It was an incredibly exploitative society. This is why Christianity is effectively an opposition to Judaism, because it is the complete opposite of it. Anyone can speak to God, right? Instead of a physical temple that only the Pharisees have access to, that only people of the right bloodline can go to, right? They have to like do these blood sacrifices. Jesus becomes the temple. Anyone can access God through him. And this is a complete upending of the Pharisaic system. So, all these people are like, oh, Jesus was really a moo. Listen, like, then why did he overthrow their entire system? I guess is the question I would like to ask such people. If he was such a moo, why didn't he like make a common cause with the Pharisees?
Yeah, or why doesn't his name end in Steen or Berg, is what I would say. I mean, exactly. A lot of ways you can approach this quandary. You want to bang out some super chats?
Yes. And I think there's a Rumble rant as well.
Yeah, we can just start with those right now if you want.
Okay. King Spectre for $5. Thank you very much. Yep. Lord, give me patience. If instead you grant me strength, I will end up in prison. No, don't do that, mate.
I like that though. Lord, give me patience because I don't need strength right now. I like that a lot.
You want to do the Rumbles?
Yeah. Kalorgi from Rumble Rants over here for $10. Thank you. Remembering my unemployed days, slaying the TDS infected by the might of my keyboard, only now to be infected myself. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the rainbow-haired troon.
Bro.
Not that. Kalorgi for $2. By the way, guys, missed the last 25 episodes of Artie and Fist. And I don't like watching pre-recorded VODs. Would you mind doing the lives over again, but this time wearing sombreros? He always adds a little twist,
For you, Kalorgi, of course, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, dude.
We'll get the largest sombreros that we can. Matty Ice for $5. Thank you, mate. What the fuck is up with these guys always saying grievance politics? They're constitution lovers. The First Amendment says specifically it's for grievances. Only the right kind of grievances, mate, right? You got to understand there are, proper grievances and improper grievances. Yeah.
Oh, good, bad. Yes, good and bad.
King Spectre for $5. Fist, it's actually really complicated. In this case, yes, it actually is.
One of the few times. We don't like to talk about this, but it's one of the few times where it's actually unbelievably, but actually, it's not complicated.
Yeah.
It's not complicated at all. It's actually just laborious to explain.
Yeah. No, I mean it's very complicated, but there's a simple solution. Just don't listen to it. Right? Like you just be like, look, get behind me, Satan. I'm not listening to your like mooish nonsense.
Yeah.
You know?
How complicated is it to explain how a car starts? But how easy is it to just put in the key and turn it? You know?
Yeah. Correct. TNR FNV for $10. Thank you very much. The Bible is full of stories about the moos trying to recreate the garden and God striking them down. Yeah, well, there you go. You know, because they just can't accept God's will. You know, and they're always trying to like.
It's up to them to repair the world. Okay.
Oh God, it's like a 5-year-old like smearing peanut butter all over your motherboard and being like, I'm helping. I fixed it. Like, well, you made it worse.
I know, but it actually is like that, because once you tell them that they're not helping, they cry and victimize themselves. It's actually a 1-to-1 parallel comparison.
Exactly. It's like I was just trying to help by setting everything on fire.
Yeah, and then he's gonna go and tell his 5-year-old friends how much of a piece of shit you are because he ruined your motherboard, and then then all these other, I don't know what else to call them. But then all of them start getting ideas about you because based on what he said. That's actually a perfect comparison.
Theodore McCarthy for $5. Thank you, mate. Dumb and evil are not a dichotomy. Many people are both at the same time. And that's a good point, mate.
Except for James Lindsay, who's too stupid to be evil. All right. He really shines in showing that sometimes there may be a dichotomy.
No, I think
equally capable.
I think the true test of people would be if you put them in charge of a society. And I have a feeling that if you made like Lindsay emperor, he would do hideous things. He would go down in history as a blood-soaked tyrant. And he'd be like, oh, yes, I was a blood-soaked tyrant, but, only for the best possible reasons.
Just like a communist.
Yeah, exactly. Mark M for $5. Thank you, mate. Sorry, guys. I was rebuilding the third temple. Can you restart so I can see myself on the live stream?
Dude, don't do that. Don't, please. You're going to get hurt if you try and do that.
It's a long job.
Historical precedent has been set that you will get hurt.
Clowntown Chronicle for $10. Hey, Aaron. How you doing, mate? You got me, bros. I've been Tucker Carlson this whole time. Don't tell anybody, please. Oh, my God. I knew it. I knew there was something shifty about you, Aaron.
He has a penchant for really interesting kind of, dissident conversations. Yep. He knows almost a little too much sometimes. And you're like, oh, wow, that guy really... why does he have a larger audience? That guy really knows a lot.
And he's got a suspiciously good podcasting voice. I should have seen through it, bros. I should have seen through it. Thanks, Aaron.
Speaking of which, go and follow Clowntown Chronicle. Fist's been on there a couple of times, and he has very in-depth conversations about really fun, kind of off-the-wall yet pertinent things in society.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to imagine,
Yeah, and he does a weekly podcast with his brother, which is actually really good. I like to listen to it because it's much more just sort of like funny slop.
That's what I'm saying.
It's hilarious. Like, very much recommend. Excuse me. Jack B. Nimble for $5. I had one experience with Habad in college. The most stereotypical fat moo imaginable, asking me personal questions like if my mom was a moo. If you know, you know, bro.
Wow. Yeah, that really subversive there, huh?
George of Wyatt for $5. Hey, man. Okay, I have New York, it's a hell of a town. The string is up and the tunnels are down. New York. Very nice. Thank you very much. And on party for 2 Canadian loonies, nacho cheese sombreros are better than buttery kippers. No, is he saying the buttery kippers are better than the nacho
buttery
cheese?
kippers are better. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Buttery kippers are better. Yeah.
Best mod in the game, fight me. We good?
We good. Okay, let's get back into it.
Whole point. That's more than apostasy. That's like not even knowing what the religion's about. So it's hard to believe there could be any ordained Christian leaders pushing for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. Oh, but there are a lot. There are a lot. And here's just one. This is Pastor Greg Locke. Listen to this.
The Gaza Strip, which has now been cut off.
Now, this is like AI levels of like over the top. Okay. Like when I was first watching this, I laughed out loud to myself because I would use this as an intro, as an AI slop video to be over the top, showing how much support someone can have for Israel while acting like they don't, while acting like they're not prioritizing. So I'm starting to understand why people like liturgy so much. People that have been from different denominations, where apparently is liturgy considered a service?
Yes.
Okay. So typically during service, there's like political theatrics apparently in different denominations of Christianity is what I'm just learning now.
Yeah. And like, I mean, like I really dislike that. Like the most that you get from that in the Greek Orthodox Church is when they have, I think there's like a day when Greece was like freed from the communists. And they had like just a little bit of a ceremony, and a bunch of people were like in their military uniforms, and they did like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 minutes, like just saying like, it was a good thing that, that Greece was like freed from the communists, and that's it. Like there's no, this whole evangelical thing. Actually, I've got a great clip of exactly this. Or did we already play that? No. Where they're just, this guy, he's basically doing like a newscast up on stage. I'll play it after this. Like, yeah.
That's good to do it.
By Israel, and rightly so. They should have cut them off a long time ago. Now, I don't care how insensitive you think I am to that. There's 6 doors in this church. You can leave anytime you want to. They've cut them off, electricity. They've cut off the water. They should have. Now, listen, I'm not for hurting anyone that's innocent. But anybody that supports terrorism is not innocent. You understand that? Israel should make the Gaza Strip a parking lot by this time next week. Destroy the whole thing. What they ought to do is evacuate up there on the hill and get a great big missile and blow that wicked dome of the rock plumb off of the spot where it's standing right now, so we can get that third temple rebuilt and usher in the coming of Jesus.
Heresy detected.
Hold on.
Boy, it is embarrassing and shameful as an American Christian to hear that and to know that video is from a few years ago. It's been on the internet. No one bothered to highlight it. Most people weren't even aware this was going on. Oh, it's definitely going on.
I love how he says that too, where it's like, this is not new. This didn't just happen. It hasn't been on your radar. So do you have something from that guy?
Yeah, hang on. Before we do, someone called Moon Ninja 420 is saying you missed my 4th wall donation. Does that mean anything? Or I don't even know.
Yeah, that's on my website, the donation link. That technically is,
I see. Okay, right. So that's your, okay. So look, while you're searching that up, I'm gonna like play this because this is insane. And it's exactly the same. I mean, just like, and Jesus said we need to genocide all the Palestinians, and he'll come back. We get the third temple. Oh God, oh dude. And this is why people think Christianity is a joke, right? It's like shit like this. Oh, I feel the way like a normal like black person must feel, right? They just like want to get ahead in life, and they're surrounded by like, people of the politically melanated persuasion. And they're just like, oh my God, Okay, let's play this. Hang on. Yep.
Russia must find that oil to be a global force. Israel has that oil, and Russia is already moving into the Middle East. What Israel doesn't have, Donald Trump will control. Secondly, Israel has what Russia must have to be a global force, a warm water port for their navy. Right now, Russia's navy is limited by the icy conditions that surround them, makes their ships unusable. Ezekiel states that God, quote, in the fury of his wrath, will send a great earthquake in the land of Israel, so that the fish of the sea and the birds of the heaven and the beast of the field and all creeping things that creep on the earth shall shake at the presence of God. Mountains will fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. Step 1, This earthquake is going.
This just reminds me of James Lindsay basically saying like, "Oh, there's nothing political about Christianity." I'm just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, oh my god! And he's 110% for the Baptists and the evangelicals, of course, because they support Israel.
To swallow one third of the advancing army consisting of Russia, Turkey, and what's left of Iran, and groups of Islamics that want to join this marching army in the future coming to Israel. You say that's never happened before. Yes, it has. Remember when Moses came down from the mount? He had the 10 commandments. He found his people committing adultery, breaking the laws of God, and he threw the 10 commandments, and it struck the ox, and God opened the ground and swallowed everybody that had broken the law of Moses. Problem solved. Your congregation is reduced, but these are the ones who will see the promised land. An earthquake is going to do this again. He will swallow 1/3 of that invasionary force. Immediately following that, the Bible says, every man's sword shall be turned against his brother.
What invasionary force? Is he saying it like the Iranians are going to like invade America? Oh, he means Israel, obviously, right? Like, oh my God.
This is what military terms call as friendly fire. They will kill each other because there will be multiple armies speaking multiple languages with multiple weapons, and they're going to hit confusion and kill each other. You said that's never happened before. Oh, yes, it did. Whenever Gideon in the Old Testament went to war, God says, blow the trumpets and make a lot of racket, and the people who come against you will kill each other. That's exactly what happened. The third weapon God's going to use as he crushes the adversaries of Israel is hailstones from heaven. If you read in the Old Testament in the Battle of 5 Kings, when the children of Israel were going to the Promised Land, the Battle of 5 Kings tried to destroy Israel. And God sent hailstones from heaven and killed most of those people. The Bible says in one verse, and the stones from heaven killed more than the swords of Israel. The point is, God has these 3 weapons ready for Russia, for Iran, and for Turkey, and everybody that follows.
Oh yeah, they're like after they've like destroyed Iran, they're gonna go after Turkey next because I don't know.
Who do you think invoked God for their political wars more, Hitler or these people?
Oh, these people way more.
It's crazy.
Way more, right? Like someone I think it was Flesh Simulator on Twitter like found this clip of one of them talking about how we're going to do Turkey next. And he was like, oh my God, it's like giving change to a homeless guy. Like, they just come back like again and again. It's like, oh yeah, sure. Like, we did Iran, but now we need to do Turkey. It's just insane.
In the near future, this is going to happen.
Oh God.
All right. I'm ready.
Right. And so, okay. So wait, hang on a second. I just wanted to point out.
Yeah.
That did we finish that clip from Pastor Locke? Yeah, we did. The guy who's like, woo, Jesus is gonna come back and woo. So he tweeted like Tucker Carlson, saying like, I want to have a discussion with you, Tucker. If you're listening, do it, mate. Come on, that would be like amazing. Just to like just expose how insane these people are. What else have we got? Going back to Tucker.
No. I got my my fourth wall donations over here.
Oh, okay, right. Well, do that.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Moon Ninja for $5. Catho Bro here. I don't tone police anyone. F Israel. F Christian Zion cucks. Moose hate. Moose hate Catholics because we are the Roman religion. I mean, that's 100% true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I've had some bad interactions with some Catholics, so that's very fair enough. I shouldn't. Broad brush.
Since Nostra Aetate and Vatican II, there's been a lot of Moorish infiltration of the Vatican. So, but the Tradcats are sound, like the pre-Vatican II ones are like totally sound.
Even with what you just said, I'm like, oh, then there's even different ones there. And then Quizits Chatterack came through on Fourth Wall for $5, saying, I can't give you money through YouTube. They be tracking me. Smiley face. Interesting. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for both those. Interesting. Okay.
Is that it for the fourth wall?
Yep. And then I need to go back to.
Hang on, we got a couple more super chats.
Cool. Yeah.
Matty Ice for another $5. Thank you, mate. Babylonians destroyed the first temple. Herod rebuilt it as the second temple. The Romans destroyed that one. Artie will destroy the third in a cool 80s outfit.
You would hate to see how I dress.
Oh my God. That'd be like awesome. You like dress up as John Travolta and just, do the Saturday Night Live dance as it's all falling down. Theodore McCarthy for $10.
Oh, yeah, bravo.
When coming back to Christ, I walked out of a church because of politics. First Orthodox service I attended, the priest stated that politics stops at the door. The church is a spiritual clinic open to all. Yes,
what I hear
agree.
just consistently. Banger after banger after banger is what I consistently hear. Is what he just said.
Yep. Thank you very much. Wait, what else have we got? Isaac for $2. Thank you very much, mate. I can't stand the fat pastors anymore. Well, this is the thing. Priests should demonstrate that they are not
gluttony, right?
Taken over by their passions,
right?
So if you see a priest who's like really fat or like obviously like a massive gooner or something like that, right? It demonstrates that they cannot control their passions, and if they can't control their passions, they shouldn't be freaking preaching to people. Like this is the whole point. You're supposed to control your passions.
Point. But as a Christian, shouldn't you feel rude for thinking that about somebody else, right? This is all the neutered liberalism that they tried to inject into everything. Well, that's rude if you say that they're fat. You shouldn't really say that, right? Isn't that you judging them, right? How do you utilize discernment without judging?
Yeah, exactly. Lenny Grad for $10. Thank you very much, mate.
Oh, hoy there.
How is it not obvious to these people that trying to force God's hand is what tore down the Tower of Babel? Well, they've been infected by Moodyism. Like, honestly, like that's basically it. That's why they've forgotten the, no man knows the day or the hour. And they have,
I think they're very special. Some would say chosen. And then James Lindsay sees that they're chosen and he goes, just to be near the chosen people is enough for me. It's the closest I can ever get.
It's disgusting.
I know.
Have some pride, man.
I know.
Holy crap. Like
backbone.
Backbone. Yes, have some backbone. Right, that's all the super chats. Shall we go back to Tucker?
Oh, sure.
If we've been paying attention or been tuned into that frequency, the spiritual frequency, we've been spiritually sensitive enough to pay attention, we would have known this. But of course, when you grow up in a materialist culture, when the only things you believe are real are the things that can be measured or purchased on Amazon, you tend to miss a lot. And we missed this. Here's the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, who we know personally, at the Western Wall, which is believed by some to be a remnant of the Second Temple, the last stone from the Second Temple, that's the claim. Here he is there, the famous Wailing Wall, saying this. Watch the subtitles.
So he's not at the wall. He makes a correction after, and there's not subtitles. There's a translator, just in case that would confuse anybody. Okay.
Hay una profecía acerca de la destrucción que relata que un zorro irrumpiría en el lugar más santo.
There's a prophecy about the destruction that says that a fox will break into the holiest of holies.
También hay otra profecía que relata que este mismo lugar será reconstruido.
There is another prophecy that says that the same place will be rebuilt.
Ahora que veo con mis propios ojos cumplirse la primera profecía,
now that I see with my own eyes the first prophecy come true,
me río de alegría y esperanza ya que de seguro se cumplirá la segunda profecía.
I laugh in joy and full of hope as the second prophecy will surely come true.
So a correction, that doesn't appear to be the Western Wall, and there were no subtitles. You heard him say it through his translator. I laugh and quiver with joy when I think about the Third Temple being rebuilt. Now, this is the supposedly, maybe, who knows, Catholic president of an overwhelmingly Catholic country, South American country, wonderful country.
He's not
Argentina.
Catholic. Wait, he's not Catholic. He converted to Moodyism. There's actually footage of him converting to Habad, where they take out his inferior Gentile soul and they replace it with an upgraded Moorish soul. Like he's not Catholic. Like not even close, mate.
You know, how many more researchers does Tucker Carlson have to have? That would have been a great great showing of like, and you know, miraculously he converted, because he never talks about anyone converting really to Moodyism, you know?
Yeah.
That's definitely a missed opportunity there.
And was presented to American news consumers as a libertarian economist who was going to fix their debt problem and get rid of inflation and just make life better for Argentines. And there he is in Jerusalem saying that he's weeping with joy, thinking about the return, the rebuilding of the third temple. What the hell is that? You would think that would not even be on his to-do list. If you're running a country as complex and damaged as Argentina, and as promising and great as Argentina, but like there's a lot of things you got to do in Argentina if you're running it. But you take time to fly to Israel and say the thing you really want in life is the rebuilding of the third temple?
Take time to fly to Israel. Yeah, it's a good point. Take time to convert to Israel.
Yeah. And so yet again, right, he comes in and he's like, you know, the Argentinian people are suffering under socialism, you know, we're going to get rid of it. And because that's what people wanted. But like once he gets in, like you heard about all the stuff going on in Patagonia?
No,
so, right. So there have been like all these like forest fires in Patagonia, and they basically arrested like a bunch of like Israelis, like deliberately setting these fires, because once the fires have been set, they can buy up the land on the cheap and, you know, make these like communities and stuff. And the locals are really, really pissed off, right? Because they're antiseptic. Yeah.
What is going on here? And why haven't we talked about this before? Say before we invaded Iran with troops who say out loud, we're doing this to bring about the creation of the third temple. Why weren't the rest of us informed? Now, here's a piece of tape you may have seen and that I personally don't want to play since I know the guy and I like him, but it does make you wonder. So this is the current Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, former Fox News employee. Nice man. Very nice man. 2018 in Jerusalem. And as someone who knew him well, I can tell you I had no idea that he had such evolved and specific and apparently very informed opinions on rebuilding the third temple of all questions. This is not something they teach you in Sunday school in the Presbyterian Church. This is not something that people talk about at dinner in the United States. This is not something our Congress ever mentions, that the president ever talks about. This is considered so esoteric and weird and crypto-historical and religious and kind of culty and what's Habad, and that no one ever mentions it. But here's Pete Hegseth.
But the reason no one mentions it is because you get like socially ostracized if you do, right? That's why it's like being consigned to places like 4chan and stuff like that.
Case in point, where they call it world mooery, and then you call it world mooery, and they clutch their pearls.
Yeah, that's right.
They have this way about them where it's their N-word. Why can black people say the N-word, but we can't? It has nothing to do with being black. It has to do with being mooish. That's where you get that from. Who else does that? Why people don't have that? Our word, our concept that we don't share with somebody else?
Yeah. And the thing, like, you know, why didn't they tell us? Well, because you're a Gentile, right? You're not supposed. What was it that you called it? Like positional Moodyism or something, right? Like how
fundamental. They're fundamentalists.
No. Positional. How like if a Moo says something that's like fine and should be lauded and celebrated, but if a Gentile says it, it's like, you know, haram and no. You had some cool like term for it. I forget what it was.
Probably did. It was probably in some sort of alcohol fused haze. All right. I'm a poet. I'm a poet with that stuff. All right. I'm running on a debuff right now. But do you have some stuff on Hegseth?
I do. Cool.
Actually. So you want to do that? Should we do this first?
Yep. Let's do Hegseth. Okay. Hang on. So this is the guy. You know, he's not really important or anything like that. He's only in charge of like, you know, the most powerful military force on the planet. What are you worried about?
When I came here, a lot of people asked me, a couple of people this morning in a press conference, what can Israel learn from America? Was that? And each time I stopped and I said, you need to reverse that question.
Yeah.
Nothing. Israel can learn nothing from America. We're already perfect, don't you know?
Don't ask what you can do, what Israel can do for you. Ask what you can do for Israel.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What can America learn from Israel? But predominantly in American culture today, American culture is largely asleep. largely asleep to the realities of the world that we face, largely asleep to the depth of the threats on the horizon. And the state of Israel, for reasons that you all understand far better than I, is not asleep. And is forced each and every day to wake up under the umbrella of existential threats. So when I speak in America, I always end by talking about a quote that is, or a sentiment that is oftentimes used in America, which is that veterans will be tempted to say, I fought, I put on a uniform, I went to Iraq or Afghanistan or World War I or World War II or Korea or Vietnam so that my kids won't have to. I fought so that they can live in peace.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that, right? Like you've heard that, right? The reason why, we had to go to war, with Mustache Man is so that we could all live in peace, right? So never again would this threaten the world. Well, Hegseth has a bit of a different take.
Never again.
Yeah, never again. Again.
And it is a tempting thought. In fact, in World War II, after American GIs deployed around the globe to defeat Nazis and the Imperial Japanese, liberate camps too late in many places, but be a part of that, that generation went back to America and said, we did fight the Nazis so the next generation can live more free. But I counsel nobody to say that anymore, and I never say it myself. I didn't fight so that my kids won't have to fight. I fought knowing that my kids will have to fight as well.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it's
did you see how people are telling send in Barron to Iran? Barron Trump, like Trump send your kid over there, right?
That's never happening. That's not how
Right.
that works. Right. Like that's not if the leaders who declared war had to send their own children, right? War would happen a lot less often. I mean, but look,
or they will just kill their own kids and they don't care. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Look, Artie, the reason why we fought World War II is so that we would have to send more of our kids to die. It's simple, really. Okay.
Okay. Right.
And maybe that's by force of arms. Lord knows the policies our country has pursued in light of the threats that we face have brought terror to our shores as well. Maybe that will require a rifle. But if not, I hope my children, our three boys, Gunnar, Boone, and Rex, who are 6, 4, and 10 months old,
those
will be
whitest
raised to
names
love
that
the Lord
ever
their God.
happened.
Gunnar, Boone, and Rex.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Raised to love their country, raised to love their state and their community and their family, and to be willing to fight for them all. And stand by understand and know who their friends are in this world.
Look, the way this is interpreted, right, is you would fight for your country. Okay. So if the Chinese came over and did an amphibious invasion of the United States, you would fight for your country. Okay. Not go halfway across the world, right, and die for Ukraine or Israel or whatever. I mean, that's oh my God, dude.
Well, that's why we don't have a people. We have a country. We have a promise, as James Lindsay likes to explain it, right? We have a covenant.
Right. Uh-huh.
And have the willingness and ability to stand by them in times easy and tough, in vows, in sickness, and in health. The relationship, richer or for poorer, in relationships, the relationship between Israel and America, in my mind, is inextricable.
Is he basically saying that the U.S. and Israel are married? Because that's sure as hell what it sounded like.
Well, I mean, but it is. We've been paying for them ever since they've never been independent. It's
for richer,
it is
for richer or for poorer, huh?
Or
something
Iran.
tells me, right, that if America was suddenly poor, the Israelis wouldn't be interested. I don't know, why I get this idea.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're acting like they're talking about upping and moving to China if things don't go well in the United States.
No, India.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, not China. The Chinese are quite antiseptic, but the Indians give their full support, sir. Actually, they're I've got something about this. Actually, they're fully already on the ground doing the Bene Gesserit shit in India.
It is one in which we stand side by side, prepared to stand with our friends in every way. And we have a leader right now who has not, and who has turned in the other direction. That is a reality that men like me, other folks in the media, and Lisa and others and at Fox and elsewhere take very seriously. And we hope we have the opportunity to tell the truth about this great nation, the truth about the threats that we face, and then lock arms and shields with all of you in defense of freedom and Western civilization. Thank you very much for having me.
Freedom and Western civilization every fucking time. Okay, so Tucker's about to start talking about Habad, right?
No, he's going to start talking about Hegseth.
Okay, we'll do let's do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Football player from Princeton going on about it in a way that suggests he's thought a lot about it. This is 2018.
Today, Jennifer and I and others had a chance to go see the Western Wall of the Temple Mount, the Western Wall tunnels, so much of the old city. And as you stand there, you can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle.
These are miracles. Now, is that weird to invoke miracle for these political events to you at all?
I mean, yeah.
Because
just,
what's something, and I mean this seriously, like something that you would like an Orthodox would consider to be like a miracle.
So Orthodox miracles are usually stuff like you have like a monk who sort of secludes himself away and sort of like, forsakes like all sin. And when they die, they become like incorruptible, right? So like their body doesn't decay, stuff like that.
Okay,
it's not like
I won the lottery. It's a miracle.
I have never heard like the Orthodox, at least in church, talk about miracles in the sense of political events. Right. Like, so even like, when they did that thing about like when the Greeks overthrew the communists, right? They thanked God for it, but they didn't say it was a miracle. You know what I mean? Right. Like that's miracles are like, or like an icon will, start like weeping or, something like that. Like, no, political events are not seen as miracles.
2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle. And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
I mean, look, like this whole idea of the capital being moved to Jerusalem being a miracle. It's not a freaking miracle, right? Trump promised that he would do it, and they paid him a whole shitload of money. How the fuck is that a miracle?
It's invoking this religious sensibility to these events, right?
Yeah.
Happen. You don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen.
What is that?
Dude, that's gonna be a drop. That what is that has to be a drop on the, on the screen.
Yeah, we got to clip that. Like, I mean, he's right. That's. I mean, this is the whole thing. This is why all the people who've been noticing are just like, what the fuck is it? Like when you first, when you first stumble across this stuff, it seems just so weird and outlandish, and that's one of the reasons why it works against the normies. Because you try and explain this to the normies, and they're like, "Nah, that can't be true." Like, well, what are you talking? That's totally outlandish. It's like this weird sort of event horizon of like weirdness. Like you make things like weird enough, and they just
the weirdness that you're talking about is the weirdness a lot of us felt during COVID, where all of a sudden it's like there's this hive mind that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I used to say this like 5 years ago. I would say to people around me, don't you find it strange that 40,000 people across the country wake up all thinking the exact same thing? I used to say that all the time. It's just weird to anybody. That's what makes the antennas start going off in your brain.
Yeah.
That's the Secretary of War right now, overseeing the war with Iran that people fighting it are starting to say actually is about rebuilding this third temple. It's the same man. Okay, this is the point where you begin to think, maybe we should have talked about this and its implications. And what are its implications? Religious war, global religious war. So the first heavily publicized move by the United States military and the Israeli military in this conflict was to kill the head of state of Iran, the 86-year-old Ayatollah Khomeini, who was replaced today by his son, who's apparently more anti-Western than he was. So I guess, strictly speaking, that wasn't very effective.
We killed an 86-year-old man.
Oh, yeah. And
why did we do that?
Well, because he was a bad guy, supposedly. The thing about Khomeini, right? He was different, by the way, from Khomeini, right? There's actually two Ayatollahs. So the one that took charge after the Iranian Revolution was Ayatollah Khomeini, right? And the one who succeeded him was Ayatollah Khamenei, right? Now, Khamenei was actually legit quite an austere religious scholar, right? he was like he was like very much like a man of the people. He like was, you know, I don't want to surround myself with like security guards and stuff like that, right? He believed he had to be like close to the people. He spoke like 4 languages, all this kind of like stuff. And when the US attacks begun, allegedly, the reason that they killed him so easily was not because they had all this intelligence or anything, but because he was like, oh, well, I'm not going to go into hiding.
A gust of wind took him out?
No. He just said, I'm not going to go into hiding because, you know, all the people in Iran, they've got nowhere else to go. So fuck it. But also, he apparently was dying of cancer. Okay. Yeah. Now, this is like a massive miscalculation by the Americans, or possibly deliberate. It depends on whether they're just trying to start a global war. And I think not enough people seriously consider this, because to all right-thinking people, they're like, war is bad, right? But consider if there was a group of people for whom like war was basically like a religious thing, like they want a global war, right? They want it. They're trying to start it. Now, one of the principal concepts in Shia Islam is the idea of martyrdom, right? Following after Ali Hussein, who was the founder of Shia Islam. Basically, when Muhammad died, I think it was his grandkids, there was like a battle for secession, right? And Ali Hussein got killed or something like that. And then the secession passed to somebody else. And this is the fundamental split between the Sunni and the Shia. I think I've got that right. I'm sure chat will be able to like correct me. I know there's someone in chat who knows this. But the whole point is that by killing him, particularly in this way, right? Like they basically gave Khamenei like incredible legitimacy, right? It'd be like, I don't know, if
it's an honorable death, so to speak, right?
Yeah. If you like, imagine if you like, you drone strike the Pope. Okay. And he's just, you know, and the Pope comes out and he's like, I'm not going to go into hiding, right? I want to be here close to my like Christian flock, right? You can kill me, but you know, I will be with Jesus, right? And then they drone strike him, right? How do you think the Christians, the Catholics would view that Pope, right? It would
feel
elevate
emboldened, I imagine.
Exactly. And that's what they've just done to all of Iran and to Shia Islam. And there are a lot of Shia, not just in Iran, but in areas like around Iran, like in Bahrain. Like Bahrain's a really good example.
What's the stated goal of why you would kill an 86-year-old man who's just going to be replaced by someone else just like him, if not worse?
Okay, so I've got a theory on this. Okay. Because of the way the Moos structure their governance, particularly their subversive governance, okay, it is a case that you could literally decapitate them because it's such a thin structure, right? It's so few people wielding so much power. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
And they, because of that sort of classic thing where there is a tendency to think that your enemy is the same as you, right? Because you inhabit like a certain thought regime. They seem to have believed that if they took out Khamenei, right, and sort of the rest of the people like around him, the whole government would collapse. At least that's what they're saying. My suspicion is that there's people who knew that this would actually ignite a war, because it is a holy war that they actually want. They want the final battle between Gog and Magog. And then after everything is razed to the ground, Jesus will come back on his little wooden bus, or like, you know, the Messiah will like float down and like, you know, his kippah will cover the earth. Or so, you know, it's one of the things about these like apocalyptics things generally is that it always misses like a middle bit. It's like start a war that sets the world on fire, ... profit. And you're like, wait, what do you mean by ... And they're like, oh, you know, don't worry, like it'll totally take care of itself. And you're like, you're missing a few steps there, buddy.
Well, that's why it was prudent how Tucker started this by thinking like, you know, you're not the only big dogs in the world anymore, you know?
Yeah.
You can't just go around doing whatever you want, especially like for seemingly we already like, I thought we took out their nukes and we were good, you know? And then Dave Smith caught heat by being like, by thinking like, oh, you're going to go to war. Like, oh, all the Lindsay with Dave Smith, you think we're going to go to war. See, it didn't happen. And then now this is happening. And then, you know, there's never any retribution.
Yeah. You're a panicking, right? It's going to be like easy in, easy out. Like, trust this. As though, right, like anyone who'd been alive for like more than 20 years and saw like Iraq, no, that's exactly what they said about Iraq, right? It's what they said about Libya, right? Like every single time they want to start a war, they always use this line, bro, it will be in and out within 2 weeks. It'll be a doddle. Yeah.
But if you take 3 steps back, and no one did because everyone's busy denouncing him as Hitler and the most evil man in the world, and we're so grateful he's dead. When was the last time the United States military, or the Israeli, working in conjunction with the Israeli military, killed the head of a world religion? Is that wise? It's not because we agree with all world religions. It's not an endorsement of Shia Islam to say maybe we should pause before killing its 86-year-old leader. It is instead an acknowledgement that that might have consequences that affect the United States and Europe and the world, but particularly the United States, since we are the United States and we have children and hope to have grandchildren. And what will be the downstream effects for them when you kill a religious leader? Did killing the religious leader cripple their command and control structure? Were they unable to launch missiles and drones when we killed the 86-year-old Ayatollah? No, because he knew he was going to be killed. That's why he stayed above ground, apparently. He wanted to be martyred. Now, why would he want to be martyred? Maybe because he wanted a religious war. Why did we kill him? Maybe because we wanted a religious war. Now, why would we want that? Why would the Israelis, who got us into this war, everyone admits that now, sorry, why would they want that?
I love that. Everyone
Man.
admits that now. Sorry.
Man.
He's so passive aggressive, and that's why they hate him.
He's so on point. Like, no wonder they want him dead, right? It's just like, stop talking about this. Stop with it. You know, how are we supposed to? And this, in my opinion, is why the Trump administration has been very unclear on their goals by going to war with Iran, right? You notice this, right? Like the goals keep basically like shifting. And they're like, no. It's because they want a religious war, right? And they can't just say to the public, oh yeah, like we're going to like set the world afire and then Jesus is going to come back on his little wooden bus, because everyone will be like, you what? So instead they're like, it's because they've got nuclear weapons and this and that and the other, right? Like, dude.
I don't know. Think about what would happen if this war leads to the destruction of the Dome on the Rock and the Al-Aqsa complex on Mount Moriah in Jerusalem. And we'll explain in a second how that could happen. A war that began with the killing of the head of Shia Islam. What would happen? Well, here are the numbers. There are about 15.5 million Jews in the world total. There are about 2.5 billion Christians, and there are about 2 billion Muslims. So whatever happens next is not going to be a fight between the Muslims and the Jews, because 2 billion versus 15 million.
Yeah, but
not much of a
right.
Fight.
Again,
not here to answer.
You going? Yep.
Again, right. The Ayatollah is the head of Shia Islam, not the head of Sunni Islam. Okay, so the Shia and the Sunni are a bit like the Catholics and the Protestants. Okay, they don't, they don't get along. But on the other hand, like the Catholics and the Protestants, they might team up if the threat was bad enough. I don't know. Like, hard to say.
I think they have more of a dispute with each other.
Yeah,
right?
Listen, I gotta take a quick toilet break. Can you
it's called a gash. Okay?
A gash. Okay, back in a sec.
Thank you. We've got Rafael's donation for $2. Thank you. All this talk about the third temple, and people forget that Terry Davis already built it. You are underinvested in Temple OS. The things that we learn. The things that we learn, fellas. What do we got? What do we got over here? Go back to that. Actually, let me see where I'm at.
Because he knew he was going to be killed. That's why he stayed above ground, apparently. He wanted to be martyred. Now, why would he not going to be That's why he stayed above ground, apparently.
And then we got Malake 220, 20 secs. Good night, fellas. Thank you. Very much appreciated. We got Isaac for $2. Gooner Boner AMD Wex Lester. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't know if I would say it that way, but somebody had to say it that way. Thank you. Oh, I'm riding solo here. Let's see if I can do it. New GM for $10, mate.
I'm back. We'll do the.
Give me a peppy.
Give me a peppy. Oh yeah. It's time for America to show its wife a flight of stairs. Oh, dude.
Glad you didn't miss that one.
Wait, what else have we got? Did we right. Lenny Gray for $10. Thank you very much, mate. Imagine how twisted they are working on behalf of the capital A Antichrist as if it's something Christ wants or will reward them for. Yeah, I mean, clearly all this Antichrist stuff is about the rebuilding of the temple. Like, what the fuck else could it be? Like, honestly.
Yeah, but they're not explicitly saying that over and over again.
Smiling Man for $2. We did it, guys. Fallout 5 will be IRL.
Wow, right?
Mate,
Long overdue.
I wish they'd do like Fallout 5, after the Iran war. War never changes.
I mean, the Israel map wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
They've done,
Yeah, I know, right?
They've done like Boston, Virginia, Vegas. Let's go. What the rest of the world is like?
No. What they need to do is make Fallout 5 in New York, man. Right? Like, after all this stuff, and there's like a whole
Yeah, that's what I said. Israel. Yeah.
that would legit be like great. And one of the factions is like this like psycho like Hasidic Jewish like cult. Oh, they'd never get away with that. Holy crap. And is the night for $2. No message. Oh, thank you very much, mate. That's
very
all
nice.
super chats.
Thank
Okay. So are we when do we get to Habad, man?
We did get to Habad.
Did we?
Yes, it was at 20.
No, we didn't do
Habad.
Did we do the whole Habad thing? Because I got stuff about Habad.
Yeah, you can hop in with that now if you want.
Okay.
But I thought you were gonna hop in with that earlier.
Oh, okay. I must have had a brain fart.
Not a problem.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so the thing about Habad is they're very, very influential. I saw a clip, but I didn't save it, and now I can't find it, right? Whereas like one of the guys who used to work in the State Department, and he's like in front of like a Habad dinner talking, and he basically says that Habad is more powerful than the CIA, which would make sense. Okay, Habad has like offices in like 5,500 offices or something like that. It is truly a global organization, right? And they have a lot of influence over Trump. On July 8th this year, after Operation Rising Lion, the joint US-Israeli strikes on Iran, Netanyahu brought Trump 2 gifts. The first was a mezuzah case made from an Iranian missile shrapnel shaped like a B-2 bomber. Cool. A sacred Jewish war relic, no big deal. Desert war cult religions have war cult stuff. The second was a dollar bill that the Chabad Messiah Rabbi Schneerson, the one Tucker was talking about, had given to someone like it was Lincoln's last turd or John Lennon's sunglasses or St. Peter's sweaty handkerchief, and eventually wound up in Netanyahu's possession. I bet it's just a random dollar and Netanyahu was only fooling the big dumb goy, but whatever. Yeah, I bet. You just know that's true, right? Netanyahu put it in an engraved leather case and handed it to Trump as a ceremonial war gift with deep personal meaning. So not a Bible, right? Not an icon, right? If you were an Orthodox Christian, right, and you were trying to do that, you would give like an icon, right? Or, be like, this icon was like much loved by this like religious figure or was created by this religious figure. Oh no, you get a dollar bill that was touched by Rabbi Schneerson.
Well, do you think that's one of the points of resilience for Orthodoxy is their emphasis on icons and symbols? So that when you have something else that like is supposed to be heavily revered, almost like how with when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, Christians were like, "Oh, we don't just kneel for stuff like that."
I think it is like the Orthodox art style has like basically stayed the same for like thousands of years, and it really sort of imparts like a kind of sort of general kind of vibe and tenor to everything, right? Like I think it's beautiful, honestly. I love the sort of Orthodox Byzantine art style. It's just
yeah.
Really
we should just make T-shirts and just sell it and make a profit off of it.
Fuck off.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Is that you have a reverence for iconography compared to possibly other denominations that will have a guy playing guitar during service and make a political speech.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that the difference between the Orthodox and the Catholics is that the Orthodox only allow 2-dimensional icons, whereas the Catholics are allowed like 3-dimensional like statues.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Habad believe that Schneerson will rise from the dead, and others believe he never died and was beamed up to heaven like Elijah. But his tomb in Queens, New York, is still a sacred place to have your prayers answered. This is who Tucker was talking about. When Trump calls Tucker crazy, it's gaslighting. POTUS literally made a pilgrimage to Schneerson's monument grave and has his lucky war dollar in his pocket or somewhere. This is the Moorish Messiah that Jimmy Carter issued a declaration honoring in 1977, and George H.W. Bush signed a law designating each year on his birthday in 1991. Each president since has issued an annual proclamation to celebrate Schneerson. Why don't you know this? That shows its power, which is held simultaneously in broad daylight and in the dark.
Oh.
Much like the way the NGOocracy works, like around COVID, right? It's simultaneously public, but also completely in the dark, you know?
Every time.
Habad has 5,500 outposts around the world and has more political power than both American evangelicals and Catholics combined. They own the TV station that made Zelensky famous and eventually the president of Ukraine. He's their man. Or how about Javier Milei of Argentina? He's visited Schneerson's grave in Queens 4 times. When he met Netanyahu, he brought a painting of Netanyahu and Schneerson meeting in 1984. He says he's converting to Judaism under Habad influence. Habad owns the heads of states all around the world. Wake the hell up. And this is true. Now, one of the things about Habad particularly is that they follow the strict interpretation of Maimonides, right? Now, under the Noahide laws, the first Noahide law is against idolatry. How is that defined? Well, under the strict interpretation, that means no icons, no crosses, definitely no believing or worshiping the Trinity. All of that stuff is idolatry. But when it is convenient, they are perfectly happy to waive this. So, for example, because the Israelis are basically making a play for India right now, they didn't want to alienate the Hindus. So this is a dispensation from the chief rabbinate of Israel, basically for the second Hindu-Jewish leadership summit, saying that Hinduism is not idolatry, despite them worshipping all the weird idols, because apparently Hinduism has one supreme being. So therefore it doesn't matter that they like worship all these like weird like icons.
Isn't this what does Islam have where you can lie to non-Muslims as much as you want to get your way?
Taqiyya.
Yeah,
taqiyya. Yeah, which I thought was actually like some kind of like tiny taco snack or something.
It is. Spelled differently, I believe.
So there is no conclusive evidence to support the theory of an Aryan invasion and migration into India. And on the contrary, there is compelling evidence to refute it. And since the theory seriously damages the integrity of the Hindu tradition and its connection to India, we call for serious reconsideration of this theory and a revision of all educational material on this issue. How much do you want to bet that they're going to start issuing new educational material that says, like, actually, we was the original moose? You know, that's what the whole we was thing is basically mooish, right? Because that's how they've been doing it. They did it to the English, right? Like, you know, we was the lost tribe. They'll come out with some shit and they'll say, like, actually the Indians are like the lost 12th tribe of Israel or something like that, right? So because Tucker's been talking about this, they finally got their denouncement from Trump. Remember, like, for ages, they were like, you know, saying to Trump, why don't you denounce Tucker? Why don't you denounce Tucker? Why don't you denounce Tucker? Well, he finally came out and he said it. You know, Tucker has lost his way. Tucker has lost his way. I knew that a long time ago, and he's not MAGA. MAGA is saving our country. MAGA is making our country great again. MAGA is America first, and Tucker is none of those things. And Tucker is really not smart enough to understand that. So they finally got it, right? So Tucker isn't MAGA. Randy Fine is not impressed by Tucker Carlson, right? And they've basically started like calling for him to be killed, right? Like, you know, in the way that they do. They're like, they don't call for it directly. They just do it indirectly.
It is easy to criticize anti-Semitism when it happens on the other side. It is more difficult to address it when it happens on your own. It was not enough for Tucker Carlson to a few days ago say every Jew should have to do a DNA test to prove that they were Jewish. It was not.
He didn't say that.
Not enough for him to say that a terrorist should be able to kill us if they are under 18 years old.
He didn't say that either.
But yesterday, Tucker Carlson attacked perhaps the best, the most good group of Jews that are out there, a group of people who see their job to evangelize not other Jews, but Jews themselves. Habad, a group that no one ever has anything bad to say about because they care about everyone. I wear a kippah from UF Habad today. And
yeah, that's not true.
Real quick, you want to know what Randy Fine did say?
Jews have been kicked out of every country we've ever lived, and it's never been our own fault. Honor of them. We have a cancer in this country. It is anti-Semitism, and Tucker Carlson represents it. He is many things, but one thing President Trump and I agree on is he is certainly not MAGA. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So this presumably is how it's going to go. MAGA is just going to shrink more and more and more and more. So why do the Christian Zionists support Israel so much? Well, this guy, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, breaks it down for you all, right? Fucking this guy, man.
The Christians evangelists here in America, which almost all of them are Republicans, they're probably all going to vote for Trump, and they are very pro-Israel. They are the ones that, thanks to them, United States always been with Israel in the last few decades. If you take out Christianity out of the picture, what United States had to do with Israel? The only things they are helping us is because of religion reason. But what a lot of Jews do not know is that they're not doing it for us. They are doing it only for themselves. Make no mistake. They all believe that once we will go back to the Holy Land and J.C. Penney will show up to redeem the world, he will put us all to be burned in hell.
That is bullshit. They believe that
I'm sorry, is J.C. Penney Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Okay. That seemed not very respectful for an ally. Okay.
No. The Christian Zionists believe that all the moves will convert. Not that they'll all go to hell, but probably from their
Do they really believe that though?
Allegedly. I mean, look, Luther believed it, right? Martin Luther believed that, all the moves would eventually convert. And a lot of them basically said to him that they would. And that's why he got so pissy at the end of his life, because he realized that it was all bullshit.
That's what they believe, because we never accepted him and we won't accept him. So why they want to help us to take over Israel, to win against the Arabs, make sure the Jews go? Why they pay all these organizations that sponsor Aliyah? A lot of the people who made Aliyah, it's Christian money. All their affair, it all come from them. There's some Reform rabbis who have connection with them. They get hundreds of millions of dollars donation from them. Rabbis from Manhattan, from Texas. Why they are so generous? Why are they donating money to Israel? What do they care about Israel? The answer is because they believe the Messiah would come. They just have the wrong identity of the Messiah. That's it. They believe that it's actually JC. They never watch my debate with a Christian professor. They would watch it quickly. They would dump all the Christian symbols, where, because it would be so obvious that it's all fake.
Heresy detected. So,
actually, how much more do you have? Because I have a quick clip of Tucker playing that very exact same guy.
Just a couple more.
It's fine if you have a good amount more. I was just going to do a quick clip of him. Back to
Tucker has, Bill Ackman. Tucker has reached a level of absurdity that's going to get someone killed. Right. So just talking about Habad is putting them in danger. That's very revealing. Why would just talking about them put them in danger, right? Because you're not supposed to. It's like Fight Club, Habad Club, right? Nobody talks about Habad Club, right? He needs to stop this now. Someone who knows him well needs to intervene, or he will have blood on his hands. That's oddly specific. You know what I mean? We've got Brett Stevens from, I think he's from CNN or something like that. Check this shit out. Wait, hang on, let me make sure I got the speed right.
What you're seeing, at least in terms of the talk show, or not talk show, but the kind of the podcast extremists, many of them on the right, but not a few of them also on the left, I think it's a fairly ill-disguised form of anti-Semitism. I mean, you heard Tucker Carlson going off on this subject. A number of them have seized on a kind of a fumbled answer from Marco Rubio to suggest that somehow Israel dragged us into this war, as if Trump has not wanted to get rid of this regime probably since 1979. I basically feel sorry for those people. I feel sorry for Tucker. Father Coughlin is today remembered as one of the most heinous and despicable figures in American history. This was the Catholic.
Is he remembered that way though? Right? like really?
Priest who was a raging anti-Semite and isolationist. On the
raging anti-Semite. You know, compared to the well-mannered, gentle anti-Semites. Foaming at the mouth. They make an anti-Semite seem like a beast every time.
As opposed to the gentle and sensitive anti-Semite.
It's kind of redundant there, you know, you think, what they're trying to do?
Actually, the reputation that Tucker is now creating for himself. I'm sure he's making a lot of money. I'm sure he's getting a lot of, he's certainly getting a lot of attention for himself, but he's not only just discrediting himself as a serious commentator.
They always do this. They give him attention and then go, oh, he loves the attention. Like, you are the problem and the solution again.
Yeah.
But his children, his grandchildren are going to have to live with the shame that their grandfather or father or grandfather came out as a kind of a increasingly flagrant.
Isn't that like a kind of blood guilt? Right? Like, you know, what does Tucker's children and grandchildren have to do with it? Like,
that's a weird thing to invoke, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of inappropriate.
Anti-Semite. I don't think, I can't think of.
Yeah. Well, you know, fucking.
Any example in history when a screaming anti-Semite was well remembered by people in future generations.
That's such a. He's a screaming anti-Semite now.
Right, but this is what James Lindsay does. You'll be sorry every time. You're gonna regret this. You'll be sorry.
Yep. Well, this is what I think Lindsay imagines, that there's, you know, all the people on the right will be like drowned in like a tide of blood at some point. That's certainly like the way he like talks. Josh Hammer, of course, complicity with Tucker is at this point complicity with evil. So you see where this is going, right?
And what do we do to Hitler, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Josh Hammer basically saying Tucker is the modern version of the villain Haman from the Book of Esther. Now, what this means basically, right, is that he's saying that Tucker is responsible for genocide and that he should be like tortured to death. And,
I'm sorry. Is this a leftist, a trans person saying this? Who's saying this right now?
No, it's Josh Hammer, mate. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just felt familiar.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got. Okay, so.
Oh, terrific. Now, let me just spring this up on you right now. If you want, just you know who Tyler Oliveira is, right?
Yeah.
He's doing the documentaries on the Moose, and they're trying to cancel him. You just read this for me real quick.
from Yakov Rosenberg. Please reach out to me at number. I would like to explain to you how you are about to cause another Harley.
Now
and
that is poetic.
Stop weaponizing the Harley to deflect valid criticism. This is shameless behavior.
I would like to explain to you how you're being racist right now. I would like to explain to you how you're being transphobic, right? You need to be educated on how you're going to cause another Holocaust. When the truth that's just proof that like the truth is deadly to them. There's not the brutal truth, it's the deadly truth when it comes to the Moose.
Yeah. Oh, look at that pause face, mate.
He's ready. His little rosy good boy cheeks.
Oh my God.
Wanted to be martyred. Now, why would he want to be martyred? Maybe because he wanted a religious war. Why did we kill him? Maybe because we wanted a religious war. Now, why would we want that? Why would the Israelis, who got us into this war, everyone admits that now, sorry, why would they want that? I don't know. Think about what would happen if this war leads to the destruction of the Dome on the Rock and the Al-Aqsa complex on Mount Moriah in Jerusalem, and we'll explain in a second how that could happen. A war that began with the killing of the head of Shia Islam. What would happen? Well, here are the numbers. There are about 15.5 million Jews in the world total. There are about 2.5 billion Christians, and there are about 2 billion Muslims. So whatever happens next is not going to be a fight between the Muslims and the Jews, because 2 billion versus 15 million, not much of a fight. This is likely to be, if not brought under control immediately, or maybe it's too late, a war, a religious war, the one that Lindsey Graham just described, between Muslims and Christians. And it's not going to play out in the Middle East because this is a regional conflict, but as noted at the beginning, it's a global conflict where every big power has a stake in what happens. This will play out globally, and it'll play out in our cities. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the United States. There are not that many Muslims in the United States, 5 million or something like that. but it's the fastest growing religion. That's enough to cause problems for sure. In Europe, 65 million Muslims, second biggest religion in every European country, fastest growing in every country. Australia, same thing, second biggest, fastest growing. New Zealand, same thing, second biggest, fastest growing. Canada, same thing. What happens in all those countries? Those Christian, Western, white countries. What happens there? If there's the religious war that Lindsey Graham and clearly the Israeli government and some in our government are hoping for, what happens? Those countries suffer more than they have suffered. And so it's possible that the real target here, it's just possible, it's throwing this out there, is not the mullahs in Iran. It's us, as it always has been. But don't take our word for it. Here's a particularly candid and honestly kind of articulate clip from a couple of years ago. This is from August of 2024 from an Israeli rabbi, Joseph Misrach, describing how Israel should take advantage of a then ongoing conflict with Iran, much less intense than the current conflict we're seeing with Iran, to destroy the Dome of the Rock in Al-Aqsa. Watch this.
If it was up to me, the last time when they shot hundreds of missiles, I would pretend that one missile came from Iran and shoot it down. You know, then all the Arabs will go.
Appears as though Tucker Carlson watched the last Artie and Fist stream. I believe we showed this on like is the last stream.
We're ahead of the curve, mate.
Yeah, when I brought this clip to you, you were like, yes, we should show this on stream. Absolutely.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Against Iran, it will be the end of the problems. You make them fight with each other, this bunch of lunatics. Never too late. You deal with a bunch of cowards.
Shoot it down into the Dome of the Rock in Al-Aqsa. Destroy what's on what the Israelis call the Temple Mount on the foundation stone. Destroy it and blame the Iranians. And that has the effect, as you just heard him say, of turning our enemies against each other. Turning our enemies against each other. Although they've refused to recognize it for quite some time, the Europeans are the enemies, the mortal enemies of the Israelis. That's the Israeli perspective, obviously. Look at the effects. And so if that were to happen in this conflict, it's not the Israelis who would bear the brunt of it. It's the Europeans, it's the Canadians, it's the Australians, and it's us, and it's the Russians. 20% of Russia is Muslim. All of those countries would be in for serious turmoil and bloodshed, and maybe already this shortly into the war. Turn them against each other, you heard the rabbi say. Now, how could this play out? Very simple. Iran is sending drones and missiles into Israel right now, mostly into Tel Aviv. Is it beyond imagination that in the fog of war, maybe one of those missiles hits the Dome of the Rock, or we're told that it did? And of course, during war, the first thing you see is censorship, so it's very hard to know what's going on. You're already seeing it today. Is there less or more?
Well, hold on. Doesn't Israel allow journalists,
Oh, yeah. Like what? Like
you
Douglas
talk to
Murray.
James Lindsay, he'll tell you about what's going on there. Douglas Murray.
Yeah.
You just got to go there, then you know what's happening. I don't know why they're acting like Israel would hide information like that.
Yeah, and the thing about Israel is they'll let any journalist in, right? Like even ones who don't agree with them, right? It's not like they sort of pre-clear you and only let journalists that they're ideologically aligned in,
Yeah, and it's not like they give you a fucking medal like they gave Douglas Murray for his fucking journalism or anything, right?
They hit you with a goy beam, right, and see whether it takes.
Apparently, it really is like the Dark Crystal, the Skeksis, and they hit you with the beam and it sucks the soul out of your body. That's wild.
Oh my god!
How else do you pull a 180? There really does have to be some sort of
wait.
beam.
Hang on. I think the stream just got shut down.
What?
I think the stream just got shut down. Wait. Chat's saying that the stream just got shut down.
Okay.
Well, good thing we were nearly at the end. Let me see. Yeah, stream unavailable. Yeah, we just got suspended.
Oh, terrific.
For policy violations. No, it's back. No, it's back. It's back. We're back.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird that we're back. Can everyone hear us, bros? We back. We back. You still there, Artie?
Yeah, you there?
Yep. We back.
Yeah,
we back.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, I think it's too much Tucker. I think
this is why I didn't monetize it, because then it would have been flagged way earlier for something. So
Okay,
I anticipated this may happen. We did get a good amount in there.
Let's wrap it up.
Oh no, you got some slop or something, right? Some wine down slop.
We got a couple of super chats as well.
Oh, sure. I'm just gonna be looking on my back end right now. Okay.
Okay. UGM for $5. Fallout, the Rotten Apple. Can you survive Leibowitz's Legion? I'd play that. UGM for another $5. Thank you, mate. Actually, I think we better give him like because that was like $10 in total. So we'll give him a sticker. Thank you. Urge to force feed bacon rising. Dude. Calamedea member for 3 months. Thank you, mate. Christ is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Christ is God. The Moose will not win. Very nice. And is the night for $2. Millions from heretics. They're still victims. Okay, so that's it. We got a bit of slop to play us out. This is from Kurt Metzger, who is amazing. And he did this like really, really great AI slop. Hang on, wait, we got super chats coming in.
Yeah.
Crumb Bum for $10.
Oink ya, bro.
We can go. So the reference earlier was to the song Item Bounce from the game Kirby Air Ride, a kosher classic. Look it up for a giggle. I've never played Kirby's Air Ride. Thank you very much.
Classic.
Is that yeah, that's everything. Right. So this is from Kurt Metzger. Would highly he's totally like worth a sub. He's like a really, really good comedian. And he did this like great like AI slop thing. We're just gonna play it out with this. Enjoy, bros. Wait, no more super chats. They're trying to keep the stream going.
How dare they?
How dare they? they're trying to subvert us by paying money to keep the stream going. Orthodoxy.
Wow.
For $10. I'm giving up crude spoonerisms for Lent, so I'm retiring the Big Nick Digger moniker. R.I.P. Nicholas William Digger III, gone but not forgotten.
Whoever would have known that Big Nicky Diggy was an ortho bro the whole time? You know, that's like finding out that in Jack and the Beanstalk, the original one, okay? There's this kind of person following him the entire time that's really helping and guiding him, right? And then you kind of find out at the end that person was there the whole time. There was a hidden ortho bro the entire time.
Yep.
Guiding me to call Isaiah an N-word at the end of the stream after he benevolently came by.
Testing for $2. Mootube strikes again. Okay. Thank you very much. Testing. Okay, so like let's play it out on this, shall we? Thank you so much for coming, fellas. We have the best fellas. We'll be back on Tuesday. And also I'll be recording like check out Fistery on Monday.
Are you playing this? Are you playing this video?
Yeah, is that all right?
Oh yeah. I have the outro video to play after this, so I didn't want to end the stream. You sounded like the stream was ending. My body is used to just immediately hitting end stream when you're at the end of that.
All right, we'll play this and then we can do like final goodbyes and see if anyone's like done any more super chats.
Play this first. Don't do don't say. I almost just hit end stream when you were saying that. Trained like a dog.
You ready to burn these Epstein files? Hell yeah. Let's do it. Watch it go up. That's it. Gone forever. Good job, guys. I couldn't ask for better bitches. Thanks, BB.
Burning devotion. Hide all the sins. Pizza parties buried. Beef jerky wins. Hide all the names of the pedos involved. Two loyal Boy Scout Shabbos tasks to resolve. And way to surrender. Call it a Sunday and fed you a poo. Cower and hide, our hands are still tied. And we're Shabbos like the goy. Bluster and hype, no action inside. A guy who likes dong-shaped Donkey Kong. And we're Shabbos like the goy. Back on my podcast, blowing hot air, rant about liberals pretending I care. Trade Brigitte, the failure's complete. Harold and come off of the pedal lead. Squat over my head, squeeze out a kipper. MK Ultra, no escape from the gripper. Chill in the office, this job is a bore. Fly to the gigs when my beard is on tour. Can't find my FBI patches, won't deplane till I've got 'em. Hockey party with the guys, like a real power bottom. Fuck Candace Owen. Talked a good game, but deliver Jackson. Same corrupt crew, flip switches for Jews, and we're shambles like the goy. FBI jet, got no regrets, corrupt as it gets. Dates is upset, and we're shambles like the goy. Shambles like the goy. And we're shambles like the goy. Shambles like the goy.
Dios mío.
Kurt Metzger, everyone, really check out his stuff. He's really good. He's a great comedian.
I have
highly recommend.
He has
And we got-
crazy Bugman eyes.
Look at this, man.
What?
Your mom's legs are back.
Mom! Now it's definitely official, okay? And now you can't deny it.
And now the Chad does what the Chad wants, and no one is stopping him because Chad does what Chad wants.
Also,
That's true.
Also, I don't necessarily know, all right? This person over here, I don't know if I can trust him.
Oh, you're on the payroll of the Jews.
Okay. Now, I personally think that those drops are funny.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that we all loving the goy didn't work for the moo. Can we all agree on that? They had to try a different strategy.
Tried the love us thing for about 3,000 years. Didn't work.
Didn't work, you know? They tried loving us like Christians,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Well, remember what Golda Meir said. She was like, I think like the second prime minister of Israel, right? She was like, I will never forgive the Palestinians for making us kill their children. I think there's something in that for all of us. That's a real quote, by the way.
Everything looks good on the back end. They were just warning me that I can't continue playing it, I think.
Right.
So I
Okay.
think
So
that's
it was like a
good.
little tap, basically.
That's what happened before, right?
Right.
I mean, we did play a good amount of it. Good for us.
We did. Yeah.
But you also did a really good job curating with like in between. We didn't just play it all the way through. We took some good detours from it, right?
Yeah. So we probably hit like I don't know, like there's probably like some
Whatever
limit.
threshold. Well, fellas,
Whatever threshold.
I have to get to cranking out some hard R content now with all these new people coming in. I got to give them, I got to show them some leg, so to speak.
Yeah, and thanks to your mum's legs, by the way, right? I
What'd
had no
you
idea.
fucking
that
say
was
to me? What'd you just say to me,
generous.
motherfucker?
Hey, I was just admiring your mum's legs. Like, what's the problem, man?
I'm
all right.
starving. I get to eat in an hour.
Yeah, so we out. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Thank you to all the people who super chatted. Come along to Fistory on Monday. It'll be the last part of the Moorish history of England. I don't think I've got more than one part, and then after that, I don't know. Probably start doing Christian Zionism or something like that. And we'll be back on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, fellas. We got the best fellas. You know who you are.
can be sure that we're both on a list. Party and fist, party and fist. You can be sure that we make the most pissed. Streaming through history, uncovering mysteries as to why the whites are living in misery. We keep the audience salivating as we continue navigating